Chapter 13:14. The God Emperor ranking list recorded on the scroll was detailed. With his consciousness, he could sense the simple information of every expert listed on the list. If he wanted more detailed information, he would have to pay a higher price to purchase it. Oh, 268th? Donghua Shueing nodded slightly. This ranking was still fair. In this world, there were more than 30 Grand Perfection God Emperors, Supremes, and late-stage, Ascendant God Emperors. For instance, Hidden Willow Valley Master and others were at this level. There were more than 250 late-stage God Emperor Ascendants, of which there were more than 30 middle-stage God Emperor Ascendants. He was ranked 268th. There are still some late-stage God Emperor Ascendants and middle-stage God Emperor Ascendants behind him. Most likely, when I unleashed my strength, my aura became unstable, affecting my ranking. And I personally killed the master of the Demon Heart Society, proving my combat power. That was why I was ranked 268th, Donghua Shueing pondered. He then turned to Xing Luzhu from Heavenswell Pavilion and chuckled. Xing Luzhu, Heavenswell Pavilion still regards me highly. They did not rank me as the last among the late-stage God Emperor and middle-stage God Emperor Ascendants. This is decided by the higher-ups. I am not qualified to influence it at all. Xing Luzhu answered. Donghua Shueing chuckled. I don't mind. I even feel that this ranking is not bad. Xing Luzhu chuckled. All right, if there's nothing else, you can withdraw. Donghua Shueing said. Yes, then I'll take my leave. Xing Luzhu respectfully withdrew. He had no choice. He, Xing Luzhu, was just a peak god monarch. And this Feishue God Emperor was absolutely an overlord in the entire divine realm. Xing Luzhu naturally had to be respectful and do everything beautifully. After all, he was stationed in High Mountain City's Heavenswell Pavilion, and the one he could not offend the least was this Feishue God Emperor. Donghua Shueing looked at the scroll before him. He muttered softly, 268th, the chaotic origin refinement body, is currently unstable. Just based on his strength in the Tao of Void, this ranking is quite high. As he muttered to himself, he smiled and put away the scroll. To him, this was just fun. The ranking wasn't that important. The most important thing was to improve his own strength. He came to this world to sharpen himself. The God Emperor list came out. This caused many experts in this world to pay attention to this ascender who was ranked 268th God Emperor. After all, for Donghua Shueing to kill the master of the Demon Heart Society, unless they were especially interested in the news of the death of a deity world expert, they wouldn't let the Heavenswell Pavilion collect such information for a long period of time. As for the God Emperor leaderboard, many people paid attention to it. The God Emperor, as well as the countless God Sovereigns of the God world, were all paying attention to it. In a small, desolate city, a green-robed male who was currently drinking wine in a tavern suddenly had a slight change in expression. He had just received the information sent to him by the Heavenswell Pavilion. God Emperor leaderboard, the green-robed male muttered to himself. Feishue God Emperor? Ascendant? He immediately transmitted a message to the Heavenswell Pavilion. He wanted to purchase detailed information regarding Feishue God Emperor. After a moment, God Monarch, an attendant from the Heavenswell Pavilion in this small, desolate city, came specially to this tavern. He passed a scroll to the green-robed male. This information requires 3 lightning stones. Go! The green-robed male threw out 3 lightning stones. Yes, the attendant received the lightning stones before leaving. The green-robed male immediately read through the scroll carefully. This report recorded the series of information regarding Feishue God Emperor in detail. For instance, he was brought back from the great wilderness by the third lady of the Makaz clan in High Mountain City, Nobuke's Kiyoshi. Many events were recorded clearly. Look at the time. Before the third lady of the Makaz clan brought him back from the great wilderness, the Heavenswell Pavilion could not find any records regarding him. The green-robed male sneered. It was normal for a god monarch to not have any records regarding him. Ingshan Snow Eagle, you came to this world too? The eyes of the green-robed male were filled with coldness. He was none other than Great Emperor North River. He came here much earlier than Dongbua Shuang. He could not track down Dongbua Shuang, and, similarly, Dongbua Shuang could not track down him. Just like in the past, when Great Emperor North River snatched away the thousand-eyed water droplet, Dongbua Shuang and the others could not pinpoint the precise location of Great Emperor North River, even though they wanted to kill him. Those who cultivated in chaotic origin bloodlines might not specialize in concealing their aura, but it was entirely different once they reached the level of late-stage God Emperor. The majority of them were formidable in tracking down others. Even those of the Supreme Realm could perfectly conceal their aura. Dongbua Shuang had seen Supremes in the Broken Tooth Mountain range before. Even if Supremes concealed their aura, Dongbua Shuang could not detect them. And Great Emperor North River was the Great Emperor closest to the supreme level in the Broken Tooth Mountain range. His control over his aura was perfect, too. It was impossible to track him down. Coming to this world as a guest from another world, he naturally had to remain low profile, concealing his aura, disguising himself as a god monarch, and living in seclusion in a small city. He would occasionally go out for missions. Ying Shan's Snow Eagle. Many thoughts flashed through the heart of Great Emperor North River. From the time he arrived, his name, the techniques he specialized in, and his identity as an ascendant, in addition to the fact that he was similarly living in seclusion, Ying Shan's Snow Eagle fit all the criteria. How could there be such a coincidence? According to the intelligence reports, he could fight against late-stage God Emperor in the Tao Void. Great Emperor North River frowned. If I include his soul technique, I should be at a disadvantage when facing him. It is more important for me to improve my strength. I'll wait until I reach the supreme level before playing with this Ying Shan Snow Eagle. Great Emperor North River sneered inwardly. He originally had a deep foundation, and after cultivating for a long period in the Snake-Tooth Corridor, he had improved further. That time, he was discovered by Dongbua Shuang and Supreme Vast Ancient. He was forced to choose this path and was sent to this world. Only after coming here did he discover that this world was much more formidable in digging out bloodline energy as compared to the Broken Tooth Mountain range. By collecting books, he could learn from them and comprehend them. Great Emperor North River was even more confident of reaching the supreme level. Let's wait and see. Great Emperor North River casually placed this matter to the side. Time passed. After Dongbua Shuang killed the master of the Demon Heart Society, his name spread across the Divine Realm. At least in the surrounding regions, many emissaries came to visit him. Even the Easternwood City sent over an emissary team. Dongbua Shuang was too lazy to meet most emissaries. Hence, he asked Nobuke's Kiyoshi to deal with them on his behalf. Only the emissary team from the Easternwood City did Shuang meet them personally. After that, his days regained its peace. Because he killed quite a few God Emperor, Dongbua Shuang had many treasures. Most of them disdained him. Hence, he chose those that were beneficial to bloodline cultivation and gave them to his disciple Nobuke's Kiyoshi. She was also the only disciple he accepted in this world. Nobuke's Kiyoshi was originally a peak stage god general. After receiving the treasures, she rapidly reached the god monarch realm. In reality, any random god general like Dongbua Shuang could easily break through after spending so many treasures that even God Emperor felt heartache. Nobuke's Kiyoshi breaking through was not considered much. Instead, it was her big brother Minamoto no Raiki, who was an expert second only to Yufeng Junshan in High Mountain City. Minamoto no Raiki was even slightly stronger than Bat Mountain Master and God Monarch Jianin. After experiencing this huge calamity, from despair to hope, Minamoto no Raiki actually broke through to the early stage God Emperor 300,000 years after the fall of the Demon Heart Society Master. This brought joy to the entire Makaz clan. Nobuke's Kiyoshi was excited for a period. Dongbua Shuang also sent some congratulatory gifts over to congratulate Minamoto no Raiki. In the blink of an eye, It had been more than 80 million years since the fall of the Demon Heart Society Master. High Mountain City, Fei Xue's residence. There were currently some musicians playing music within the residence. There were also many female dancers dancing. Dongbua Shui Ying, Nobuke's Kiyoshi, and the number one Zither Master of High Mountain City, Lung Xian, were seated there chatting and watching. Ever since he heard Lung Xian playing the zither in the past, Dongbua Shui Ying had gained this hobby. He loved listening to music and watching dances. Teacher, this is a dance piece personally composed by Sister Lung. How is it? Nobuke's Kiyoshi said. Teacher? Nobuke's Kiyoshi looked at Dongbua Shui Ying with a puzzled look. Dongbua Shui Ying currently closed his eyes as if he was thinking about something. Nobuke's Kiyoshi dared not speak after seeing that. Hong Long. At this moment, Dongbua Shui Ying in his hometown Primal Chaos Void and all avatars in Realm Heart Great Land were rumbling with consciousness. Many profound mysteries were fusing together to form an unfathomably profound and perfect technique. Chapter 13:15. At the moment when this perfect technique was formed, an illusory realm naturally appeared in the heart of Dongbua Shui Ying. It was vast and filled with endless life force. Yet killing intent was hidden within. Life force and killing intent were like two sides of the same coin. They entangled with each other, causing the entire world to be more interesting. It was just like where there was life, there would be death. Where there was light, there would be darkness. This entanglement was like a surging current that penetrated through the entire illusory realm. Simply speaking, the core of the operating laws of this illusory realm were these two sides of the same coin. Using these two sides of the same coin as the core, Shui Ying fused other comprehensions of the Tao of Mirage and illusory realm into it. Everything was going according to nature. Hong Long. The souls of every avatar of Shui Ying were rumbling as they underwent a transformation. Their souls were becoming clearer and more ethereal. They were able to deduce the same technique at a faster speed and more accurately at the essence. Not only that, their souls were becoming more condensed. They were even vaguely moving towards a qualitative transformation. My soul, so powerful, it seems stronger than my fleshy body. Dongbua Shui Ying felt an illusory feeling of power. It felt as if his soul had become so strong that it could fuse with the origin source of this world. As long as this world existed, his soul would not be extinguished. Of course, this was just a vague feeling. Just a little bit more. Who? Suddenly, within the residence of Fei Xue in High Mountain City, Dongbua Shui Ying, who originally closed his eyes, abruptly opened them. His eyes became incredibly deep. Lung Xian's Zither Master and Nobuke's Kiyoshi were originally nervous when Dongbua Shui Ying suddenly closed his eyes and ignored them. But when they saw Dongbua Shui Ying opening his eyes, the two of them could not help but immerse themselves in it. It felt as if this was the most enchanting pair of eyes in the world, and they were willing to immerse themselves in it. My fleshy body. Dongbua Shui Ying felt his entire body cheering. His soul was actually nourishing his fleshy body unknowingly, allowing his fleshy body to develop towards perfection. The transformation of his fleshy body was a minor matter. Dongbua Shui Ying was more concerned about his soul. My soul, this feeling. Dongbua Shui Ying's soul could sense the powerful essence of the immortal world. The essence of this world was coarser than that of the source world, but the quantity was much greater. The soul was the most unique energy of a living being. For instance, there were blood sacrifices in the Realm Heart Great Land that could refine essence of blood spirit from within. Some of the more powerful souls could refine the essence of blood spirit, and absorbing it was more effective than absorbing the origin source. Clearly, the soul was a similar power to the world origin, just that it was more unique. I feel like I'm just a step away from fusing with the world's origin. Once integrated, as long as the world's origin was not destroyed, his soul would not be destroyed. How terrifying was that? Even a chaotic origin expert could control an origin world. It was impossible for him to destroy the world's origin source, because destroying the world's origin source would truly perish. The Tao of Soul can actually reach such a level after reaching the ultimate realm. Dong Ying thought to himself. He had just comprehended the third Tao of mirage and illusory realm killing technique. This third killing technique was a perfect fusion of the previous first killing technique, resplendent illusory world, and the second killing technique, killing intent of the illusory world. Its power had greatly surpassed the previous killing technique. This qualitative transformation had even given Dongbua Ying a feeling that he was incomparably close to the soul final realm. And now that he had created this technique, he was just a strand away from reaching the final realm. If I reach the final realm in the Tao of Soul, it seems it is far beyond what ordinary Tao paths can compare with. Dongbua Ying thought. That's right, too. The foundation of life was the soul. The difficulty of cultivating the Tao of Soul was far beyond other Tao paths. Amen? Dongbua Ying looked around him. Within this palace hall, Nobuke's Kiyoshi, Zither Master Lung Xian, and the dancers and musicians who were performing had all collapsed. It seems I have unknowingly affected them when I broke through. With a thought, Dongbua Ying sent a ripple across the entire palace hall. Everyone in the palace hall woke up. They were even slightly at a loss. Nobuke's Kiyoshi looked at Dongbua Ying. She was still in a daze. Teacher, why did I fall asleep? I have unknowingly affected you all. All right, I am preparing to enter closed-door cultivation for a period. If there isn't anything important, do not disturb me. Dongbua Ying instructed. Yes, teacher. Nobuke's Kiyoshi acknowledged. Amen. Dongbua Ying nodded and stood up. He nodded slightly to Zither Master Lung Xian by the side before leaving the place to enter closed-door cultivation. Within the cultivation room, Dongbua Ying was thoroughly feeling the changes brought about by this breakthrough. Firstly, his chaotic origin refinement body. Originally, his middle-stage God-Emperor body was not stable and could only last for an hour. But now, the influence of his soul on his fleshy body had made it more perfect. It was stronger by approximately 50%. Furthermore, even though it was still unstable, the consumption on his body had been greatly reduced. His body's recovery ability was sufficient for him to resist against it. In other words, he could fight continuously. The influence of my soul on my fleshy body is merely perfecting the foundation of my fleshy body. It can merely improve it by a few times. As for my chaotic origin refinement body, it is a qualitative transformation. Dongbua Ying understood that the help his soul could provide to his fleshy body was merely icing on the cake. If he wanted to cultivate his fleshy body to the half-chaotic origin life-form body, or even become a chaotic origin expert, he still had to improve his Tao of Void. Just a little more. This third Tao of mirage and illusory realm killing technique is just a little bit away from reaching the final realm. Dongbua Ying shook his head, because the first two killing techniques were already very powerful. The third killing technique had been greatly improved. From a certain perspective, it was not much different from a final realm technique. But it had yet to reach the final realm. He had yet to reach it. Final realm represented grand perfection, like when he was at the level 2 cosmos god realm in the Tao of Void. By relying on a supreme secret importation, he could exert strength comparable to ordinary final realm experts. Even if the technique was strong, it did not represent his realm. This third killing technique had absorbed the profound mysteries from the gray eyes and golden eyes of that thousand-eyed existence and successfully fused them together. This technique was indeed strong, but it was still incomplete in terms of realm. And these incomplete parts, it prevented his soul from reaching grand perfection. I have been pursuing too much in destroying the soul of my enemies. Dongbua Ying thought, because this third killing technique sought to fuse the first two killing techniques together. Hence, when he first created it, he had used the first two techniques as a single entity to create it. This move of mine is slightly too extreme. Dongbua Ying knew where the problem lay. Next, the fourth killing technique will make up for these flaws. Dongbua Shuiying thought, when I create the fourth killing technique, it should be the moment when my Tao of mirage and illusory realm reaches the final realm. I am truly looking forward to it. Asterisk, 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 asterisk after breaking through. He would reflect and consolidate his strength. This did not take too long. The reason why Dongbua Shuiying chose to enter closed-door cultivation was because it was time for him to leave the high mountain city after grasping the third Tao of mirage and illusory realm killing technique. Dongbua Shuiying sat cross-legged. Waving his hand, a scroll appeared before him. The scroll recorded detailed information regarding the Tao of void, chaotic origin life forms. Dongbua Shuiying had been collecting information regarding the Tao of void, ascendant scriptures through the Heavenswell Pavilion in High Mountain City. Another reason was to collect information regarding void lineage chaotic origin life forms. In reality, he had already obtained some useful information. It's just that he did not feel that it was time to act. There is a corpse of a void lineage chaotic origin life form in Iron Dragon City. Dongbua Shuiying read through the information. Chaotic origin life forms had laws manifested all over their bodies. For instance, some chaotic origin life forms might only have some Tao of void laws manifested on very few parts of their bodies. That was of limited help to Dongbua Shuiying. And void lineage represented that a chaotic origin life form specialized in void lineage techniques. The majority of laws manifested on their bodies were of the void lineage. This was also what Dongbua Shuiying was pursuing. It's just that innate void lineage chaotic origin life forms were very rare. Iron Dragon City Master is ranked 7th on the God Emperor list. Dongbua Shuiying thought, there were more than 30 Supremes in this world. Iron Dragon City Master was ranked 7th. He had 5 children. All of them had been nurtured to the God Emperor level. Naturally, only the Crown Prince was a late-stage God Emperor. The strength of Iron Dragon City Master was even stronger than that Hidden Willow Valley Master. If I could get this void lineage chaotic origin life form corpse collected by Iron Dragon City Master, it would be of great help to me. Dongbua Shuiying thought. The deterrence of Iron Dragon City Master was too great. He had never thought of snatching it by force. Even so, he was waiting for the third Tao of mirage and illusory realm killing technique to be created before he decided to act. Chapter 13:16. Dongbua Shuiying stood up and stood in the quiet room. Suddenly, his figure changed, his appearance changed, and even his aura changed, becoming as cold as a 10,000-year-old glacier. Changing one's aura was a small matter. At Dongbua Shuiying's level, changing one's soul aura was very simple. However, it wasn't easy for him to resist some prying techniques. Some of the experts in this world had special abilities because of their bloodlines. Some divine abilities could allow one to see the strength of others. Like that housekeeper Yun's Jade Light God Eyes. The ancestral god bloodline originated from the 3 chaotic origin experts who created this world. Naturally, it contained all sorts of mystical aspects. For instance, if an expert at the level of God Emperor specialized in spying, his techniques would be much more formidable than that housekeeper Yin. Before this, Dongbua Shuiying did not have the confidence to fend off the spies. But now, with my attainments in the Tao of Soul, I doubt anyone below the chaotic origin level could see through my strength. Dongbua Shuiying thought to himself. This time, after comprehending the third move of the Tao of mirage and illusory realm, his soul spirit had undergone another transformation and was already at the threshold of qualitative change. As long as he made a slight breakthrough, he would be able to complete the qualitative change. At that time, his soul would be able to fuse with the origin of a world. As long as the world was not destroyed, he would not die. Now that his soul aura had changed, Dongbua Shuiying believed that no one would be able to see through his soul aura. Give me another sword. Dongbua Shuiying raised his hand, and a sheathed divine sword appeared in his hand. With a smile, he waved his hand, and the divine sword was strapped to his back. He was dressed in white and carried a divine sword on his back. Buzz! At the same time, Dongbua Shui Ying's aura started to grow stronger, reaching the level of God Emperor late phase. His aura was filled with sharpness. Of course, this was all due to the uniqueness of his soul, which allowed him to easily disguise himself. If he wanted to, he could totally disguise himself as a perfect God Emperor, but there was no need for that. Rip! A black spatial rift suddenly appeared in the quiet room. Dongbua Shui Ying took a step forward and disappeared into the Tailong city. Tailong Chung. This was an incomparably flourishing city. Iron Dragon City Master was ranked 7th amongst the 30 over God Emperor Paragon level experts. Naturally, his strength was extremely terrifying. One had to know that the innate chaotic origin life form, Hidden Willow Valley Master, who could unleash the strength of God Emperor to grand perfection, was only ranked 12th. Iron Dragon Hall. Shui Ying turned into a stream of light as he flew through the sky. He descended down and landed before a towering residence. This residence occupied a huge area. It was even bigger than the entire High Mountain City by a whole circle. More than 500,000 kilometers in area. Oh, occasionally, roars could be heard from within the mansion. Dongbua Shui Ying was able to guess that this roar should be from the innate chaotic origin life form, the nine-horned armored dragon. In this divine realm, there were only 2 innate chaotic origin life forms, the nine-horned armored dragon. Both of them lived in the Armored Dragon Hall. They had a cooperative relationship with Iron Dragon City Master. They required the protection of Iron Dragon City Master. And the cultivation scripture that Iron Dragon City Master created, Undying Iron Dragon, had the help of the nine-horned armored dragon. Iron Dragon City Master's 5 children had been nurtured to the level of God Emperor by him. It was also because he had spent a huge amount of treasures. And the lineage of Iron Dragon City Master had given birth to more than 100 God Emperors. Those 2 nine-horned armor dragons have played a huge role in this. The innate chaotic origin life forms in this world are truly pitiful. There are too many experts. Even though innate chaotic origin life forms are good at survival, they would still die if they were attacked by a large number of experts. Dongbua Shui Ying sighed. In the Broken Teeth Mountain Range, the use of innate chaotic origin life form corpses was very low. Hence, the 5 Great Supremes were too lazy to kill them. But in this world, it was clear that the usage of corpses was much higher. This God Emperor, why have you come to my Iron Dragon Hall? The protectors in front of the residence looked at this white-robed male who carried a divine sword on his back. They could feel a terrifying, sharp aura coming from him. They could not help but feel their hearts tightening. They became slightly more polite. This one is Qing Yan. I am here to pay a visit to Iron Dragon City Master. Dongbua Shui Ying said. My clan city master doesn't meet guests easily. A protector frowned. Even though the aura of this white-robed male was powerful, they were not afraid of him, even though they were polite. After all, the city master of their Iron Dragon City Master residence was a grand perfection God Emperor. There were a total of 8 late-stage God Emperor experts. Even though most of them had built their own cities, there were still 3 late-stage God Emperor experts within the residence. There were even more middle-stage and early-stage God Emperor experts. I do hope for you to report my arrival, Dongbua Shui Ying said. All right, wait here for a moment. Seeing the strength of this person, the protector helped to report his arrival. Dongbua Shui Ying sighed inwardly. This was indeed the Iron Dragon Hall. If Shui Ying merely maintained his middle-stage God Emperor aura, the other party would most likely be too lazy to report his arrival. After the time taken to brew a cup of tea, that protector returned. He said to Dongbua Shui Ying, My clan's crown prince has invited you over. Please follow me. All right. Dongbua Shui Ying immediately entered. Crown prince? Iron Dragon City Master had 5 children. The strongest one was the Crown Prince, who was a late-stage God Emperor. According to the intelligence report, this Crown Prince of Iron Dragon Hall was usually the manager of the Iron Dragon Hall. Because of the strength of Iron Dragon City Master, he disdained all trifling matters. Instead, he focused on cultivating and breaking through to become a chaotic origin life form. Any grand perfection God, Emperor, Cultivator could be called a half-chaotic origin life form body. They were already standing at the doorstep of becoming a chaotic origin life form. Those who cultivated in bloodlines would become a chaotic origin life form the moment they broke through and underwent an ultimate awakening. This way, the Protector led the way. Do not barge in recklessly. My Iron Dragon Hall has many forbidden grounds that forbid outsiders from entering. Understood. Dongbua Shui Ying followed behind. The hall spanned across 500,000 kilometers. This Protector flew slightly slower. Only after a while did he lead Dongbua Shui Ying into a garden. Crown Prince, I brought Azure Cloud God Emperor here. The Protector respectfully said. Dongbua Shui Ying looked over. A black-robed male was currently leaning on a chair. He seemed very casual. By the side, there were also two top-notch beauties serving him. Wine and fruits were being served to him. This black-robed male was quite handsome. He swept his gaze across Dongbua Shui Ying. His eyes were filled with tyranny. He lightly waved his hand. Retreat, Azure Cloud God Emperor. If you don't mind, please have a seat and have a few cups of wine. Who would mind having a few cups of wine in the Iron Dragon Hall? Dongbua Shui Ying chuckled as he sat down cross-legged. This black-robed male was the eldest young master of the Iron Dragon Hall, Iron Dragon Yinshan. He was ranked 85th on the God Emperor board. For him to have such strength, he naturally had the help of his father. He even had treasures on him. But no matter what, to be ranked 85th on the God Emperor board by the Heavenheart clan, one could see how strong he was. In addition, the Iron Dragon Hall was under the command of this eldest young master. That tyrannical aura he exuded was a result of being in a high position for a long time. Azure Cloud God Emperor, Late Stage God Emperor, on the God Emperor board of the Heavenheart clan, there isn't Azure Cloud God Emperor's name. The eldest young master of the Iron Dragon Hall laughed lightly. The Iron Dragon Hall had many probing techniques. He had even arranged for a mid-stage God Emperor subordinate to use a sacred art to spy on him. He believed that this Azure Cloud God Emperor was indeed a late-stage God Emperor. In the past, I have always been cultivating in seclusion. Hence, my name isn't on the board. Dongbua Shui Ying said. Haha, I don't care if Brother Azure Cloud is truly cultivating in seclusion or if you have a sacred art to conceal your aura. I don't care. The eldest young master of the Iron Dragon Hall laughed. What I care is why Brother Azure Cloud is here. He did not care about the identity of the other party. Given his strength and the backing of his father in the divine realm, he did not even fear the three great royal clans. Even though the three great royal clans had the three chaotic origin ancestral gods behind them, strictly speaking, all civilians in the divine realm were descendants of the chaotic origin ancestral gods. Hence, as long as one did not attack the territories of the three great royal clans, even if one fought with the experts from the three great royal clans, some experts would fall and the chaotic origin ancestral gods would never appear. But if one killed his way to the territories of the three great royal clans, that would be challenging the chaotic origin ancestral gods. I came here for a void lineage chaotic origin life form corpse. Dongbua Shui Ying said, I want this corpse. I wonder what price I have to pay before the Iron Dragon Hall is willing to sell it to me. Huh? The eyes of the eldest young master of the Iron Dragon Hall brightened. He laughed. Since Brother Azure Cloud is here for this chaotic origin lifeform corpse, I believe you should know how rare it is to obtain a void lineage chaotic origin lifeform corpse. In the entire divine realm, there are a total of 3 void lineage chaotic origin lifeforms. 2 of them are still alive, and 1 corpse is with me. It specializes in escaping and survival. The difficulty of killing it is much harder than killing ordinary chaotic origin lifeforms. I know, Dongbua Shui Ying nodded. This was also the reason why he came to negotiate after cultivating the 3rd Tao of Mirage and illusory realm killing technique. Chapter 13:17. The Crown Prince of Iron Dragon Hall immediately stood up when he saw that. He waved his hand to the side. The 2 female attendants immediately left obediently, leaving behind only this Crown Prince and Dongbua Shuang. This corpse of a chaotic origin life form belongs to the void lineage. It is very precious. Given my father's temper, he isn't willing to sell it. But since he has no use for it, he has already given it to me. The Crown Prince grinned at Dongbua Shuang. If you want it, you'll have to exchange for it with a golden lightning chaotic origin bead and a dried realm leaf. Dongbua Ying's pupils dilated. Ever since he killed the master of the Demon Heart Society, revealing part of his strength, he had bought quite a bit of intelligence from the Heavens Will Pavilion. For instance, information on the various treasures in the divine realm. Otherwise, if he could not recognize a treasure right in front of him, wouldn't it be a tragedy if he missed it? The dried realm leaf was a rare treasure used by the commoners in the divine realm to aid in cultivation. It was also an extremely rare item used to cultivate bloodline energy. In the history of the Heavens Will Pavilion, there have been 3 auctions for the dried realm leaf. During these 3 auctions, the lowest price was 3,900 chaotic origin crystal jades. The highest price was 5,800 chaotic origin crystal jades. Of course, there were more than just these 3 pieces in the divine realm. There were quite a few that were owned by Grand Perfection God Emperor and given to their disciples and subordinates. No matter what, the value of this dried realm leaf was approximately 5,000 chaotic origin crystal jades. This price was extremely exaggerated. One had to know that during the previous auction that Dongbua Ying participated in, the final price of a chaotic origin lifeform corpse was only 20,000 chaotic origin crystal jades. It was fine if it was a dried realm leaf, but it was far inferior to the golden lightning chaotic origin bead. The golden lightning chaotic origin bead was incredibly precious and had never appeared in an auction before. According to Dongbua Ying's understanding, there were only 3 golden lightning chaotic origin beads discovered in the history of the divine realm. Any one of them was worth more than most chaotic origin lifeform corpses. Even though the corpse of a void lineage chaotic origin lifeform was similarly rare, in terms of preciousness, most experts in the divine realm would not even compare to the golden lightning chaotic origin bead. After all, corpses were not as useful as the golden lightning chaotic origin bead. Golden lightning chaotic origin bead? Eldest young master, aren't you asking for too much? Dongbua Shuang asked. Hagao. The Crown Prince of Iron Dragon Hall sneered. Not at all. Of the 3 void lineage chaotic origin life forms, 1 corpse is with me. 1 is under the protection of one of the 3 great royal clans, the Extreme Star Clan. The last one might be wandering in the divine realm, but its survival capabilities are the strongest. There was once a total of 6 Grand Perfection God Emperor experts teamed up, yet they could not kill that chaotic origin life form. If you miss me, where are you going to find this corpse? In reality, there are quite a few who want this corpse. You're not the only one. I've already raised the same condition. Without the golden lightning chaotic origin bead, don't even think about it. Whoever brings the golden lightning chaotic origin bead over first, I'll give this chaotic origin life form corpse to you. In that case, there's no need for the dried realm leaves anymore, right? Dongbua Shuang said. My daughter's cultivation is lacking a withered realm leaf. If she could get the golden lightning chaotic origin bead, I believe it would be easier for her to get the dried realm leaf. The Crown Prince of Iron Dragon Hall looked at Dongbua Shuang. I've raised the condition. Brother Azure Cloud, after you get the golden lightning chaotic origin bead and a dried realm leaf, bring them over to exchange with me for the corpse of the void lineage chaotic origin life form. Can I have a look at that chaotic origin life form corpse first? Dongbua Shuang asked. Sure. The Crown Prince was very forthright. Flipping his hand, a storage Eden treasure appeared in his palm. I've already removed the isolation barrier. You should be able to see what's inside this storage Eden treasure. Dongbua Shuang looked over. A strand of consciousness rapidly permeated over. Indeed, it did not encounter any obstruction as it permeated into the storage Eden treasure. At that moment, he saw an enormous corpse that meandered like a mountain range lying on the ground. Even though it had fallen, its corpse was still emitting a strange fluctuation. Donghua Shui Ying could see the laws and profound mysteries manifested on every part of its body. The many green scales on its body, its tail, the many horns on its back, and the patterns on those horns. Donghua Shui Ying could see the inscriptions on them. They were incredibly profound. Donghua Shui Ying swept through them. Just the surface of this chaotic origin life form corpse, the scales, the horns, the claws, nearly 90% of the manifested laws and profound mysteries related to the Tao of Void. They were similarly profound and contained some profound mysteries at the chaotic origin level. Different parts of the corpse manifested differently. It was a different usage of the Tao of Void at the chaotic origin level. Have a look. The Crown Prince kept it with a flip of his hand. He smiled at Donghua Shui. Donghua Shui felt his heart blazing. He had to get it. He had only taken a cursory look previously. One had to know that he had to look at the structure of the inscriptions within the eyeball of a chaotic origin life form for a while before he could memorize them. That enormous corpse would most likely take hundreds or thousands of years to memorize just the surface. If he were to dissect the body, it would take him a very long time to memorize everything. As for the time taken to comprehend it, it was even harder to calculate. Everyone says that the teacher imitates the world. Nevertheless, reaching my current realm, the profound mysteries of the Tao of Void contained in the world might not be as profound as what I have comprehended. Donghua Shui shook his head. Like this divine realm, many laws were incomplete. They were even tyrannical and oppressive. What he was pursuing was the chaotic origin level. This was no longer something that could be contained in the world. Even though the chaotic origin 7 strikes was powerful, only the 6th and 7th strikes involved the chaotic origin level. Those were merely the most superficial applications of the technique. By relying on it, Shui Ying could only fight against some ordinary low-graded chaotic origin life forms. To him, a corpse of a void lineage chaotic origin life form was absolutely a good target for him to study. It would be of great help to him. I've said it before. This chaotic origin life form corpse is given to me by my father. The decision lies with me. The Crown Prince looked at Donghua Shui. If you get the treasure I want, you can come and find me. I'll try my best. Donghua Shui stood up. Then I shall not send you off. The Crown Prince chuckled. He watched as Donghua Shui left. The golden lightning chaotic origin bead was what the Crown Prince desired the most. Even with his identity, he could not get it. If I have the golden lightning chaotic origin bead, I can increase my strength by another 50%. By then, even a grand perfection god emperor would not be able to deal against me. The Crown Prince thought. He was originally very strong. He was ranked in the front, even amongst late-stage god emperor. He was similar to Great Emperor North River during the Broken Teeth Mountain Range period. There were too few treasures that could greatly increase his strength. The Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Bead was the one that could improve his strength the most. After leaving the Iron Dragon Hall, Shui stealthily entered an alley within the Iron Dragon City. He executed the Great Destruction Realm Teleportation technique and left stealthily. First, he went to another small desolate city. He changed his aura, disguising himself as a peak stage God Monarch expert before purchasing detailed information regarding the Dried Realm Leaf and the Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Bead. Previously, even though he had obtained information on the various treasures in the Divine Realm, that was just an overview. The more detailed the information was, the higher the price would be. So expensive. Donghua Shui sighed inwardly. The detailed information on the Dried Realm Leaf and the Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Bead cost him a total of 8,000 lightning rocks. There are quite a few owners of the Dried Realm Leaf. Donghua Shui glanced over. The information provided by the Heavens Will Pavilion was formidable. They introduced a total of 15 owners. A total of 3 Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Beads. Donghua Shui also saw where these 3 Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Beads were located. For them to be able to protect a treasure like the Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Bead, they naturally had an extraordinary background. I'm going to start a massacre. Donghua Shui thought. Let's see who has the greatest sin. He did not choose the easiest to deal with. Instead, he chose those with the greatest sin. For instance, that crown prince of Iron Dragon Hall. If he were a great devil with heinous sins, Dongbua Shuang would have chosen to assassinate him and snatch his treasures. But the crown prince of Iron Dragon Hall was at most an ordinary battle between experts. He did not have any karma or resentment. Hence, Shuang was not willing to forcefully snatch his treasures. And that was the residence of Iron Dragon City Master. Iron Dragon City Master himself was frightening enough. Within his residence, there were many arrays supporting it. Iron Dragon City Master would most likely be stronger by an entire level. He was not someone to be trifled with, and starting a massacre was part of his plan, because he did not have many treasures. Even though he had killed the master of the Demon Heart Society and some other god emperor, those treasures were far too lacking compared to the golden lightning chaotic origin beads and the corpse of a void lineage chaotic origin life form. He still had to rely on killing others to accumulate treasures, and he was not willing to kill some ordinary experts either. If he wanted to start a massacre, he would naturally find those great devils. Chapter 1318. Dongbua Shuang looked at the information recorded on the scroll. Heavensville Pavilion had found out that there were a total of 15 people who possessed the dried realm leaf. According to the records of Heavensville Pavilion, the one with the greatest sin was called Crane Cave God Emperor. God Emperor Crane Pit was a middle-stage God Emperor expert. He was also the beloved disciple of the Grand Perfection God Emperor Palace Master Ghost C. Palace Master Ghost C could be considered an ultra-huge devil, and God Emperor Crane Pit was one of his 3 disciples. His personality was similarly evil, and he had slaughtered countless people. Nevertheless, he had a powerful teacher. God Emperor Crane Pit was considered not bad among middle-stage God Emperors, and was ranked at the bottom of the God Emperor ranking list. Crane Cave God Emperor. According to the records of Heavensville Pavilion, he is truly a devil. Dongbua Shuang thought, let me personally go and see how much karmic resentment he has. Killing intent rose in his heart. With a thought, Dongbua Shuang easily found Crane Cave God Emperor from the many karmic connections he had. And then, he is actually in a remote city? Dongbua Shuang was shocked. It seems to be High Wind City, following which Dongbua Shuang executed the Great Destruction World Teleportation Technique and rushed over. High Wind City. In a vast god world, it was an unremarkable city. However, it still occupied an area of hundreds of thousands of miles. There were many citizens in the god world and various small powers. Heavensville Pavilion also had a branch here. It's Big Missy. Big Missy is out. On a street, there were many people. They were all looking at a few people far away. A pair of young ladies with 2 guards behind them. This pair of young ladies, one was a maid while the other was the Big Missy of High Wind City, High Wind Yurong. The High Wind City's city lord had 4 children, 3 sons, and 1 daughter. This daughter was extremely intelligent and talented. She was currently at the peak of God Monarch. Because of the bloodline she cultivated, the higher her strength was, the more ethereal and transcendent Ling Feng Yurong's temperament became. Looking at her was like looking at the most beautiful thing in the world. Every time he came out, he would attract too much attention. The High Wind City Master knew how attractive his daughter was. Hence, he had long given the order to forbid his daughter from going to other cities, to prevent any twists and turns. Young miss, that person's gaze is very impudent. I'll go teach him a lesson. The green-robed attendant saw a person standing by the window of a restaurant in the distance. She couldn't help but grit her teeth and said, "Don't be anxious." High Wind Yurong was a little surprised. Why didn't I sense anything? His heart of the ice realm should be able to sense malicious and greedy gazes. She looked around carefully and found a man with a hooked nose standing by the window on the 2nd floor of a restaurant not far to the left. He was holding a wine glass and looking at her with greed and excitement, as if he had seen a beautiful prey. This gaze made Ling Feng and Yurong feel uncomfortable. But why didn't his ice realm heart feel it? Young miss, he is too much. You can't let him off easily. The green-robed attendant was also anxious. The two guards by the side also noticed it, and their expressions changed. Ha! This is Big Miss Ling Feng and Yurong. The hooked-nosed man by the window laughed. Come up and accompany me for a drink. As he spoke, he stretched out his left hand. His left hand expanded by a few hundred meters and instantly traversed the distance between them. Ling Feng and Yu Rong's expression changed. She wanted to retreat with the attendant, but an invisible energy surrounded her and easily restrained her. That huge hand grabbed onto Ling Feng and Yu Rong's waist and instantly brought her to the top of the restaurant. Big miss! Big miss! The two guards and the green-robed attendant were infuriated. At the same time, they felt fear in their hearts, because their Big Miss Ling Feng was a peak stage god monarch. She was ranked in the top 10 in the entire High Wind City. How strong was the enemy to be able to capture their Big Miss in a single move? God Emperor class? Hurry and report to the city master. Hurry. They were extremely anxious. The green-robed attendant couldn't help but rush into the distant restaurant. Big Miss has been captured. She was captured by someone in that restaurant. Many passers-by on the streets were shocked when they saw this. Ling Feng and Yu Rong were the most dazzling people in the entire High Wind City. As her strength grew, her aura became even more ethereal. Every citizen of the divine world could only look at her with admiration. No one dared to have any blasphemous thoughts toward her. But now, their Big Miss was actually forcefully captured. This naturally caused many people to be incomparably furious. But they also understood how terrifying the enemy must be to be able to capture their Big Miss so easily. Although they were furious, they were helpless. On the second floor of the restaurant, the surrounding customers were all stunned by his actions of capturing High Wind City's Big Mississippi. Only two of them had already swiftly slipped down the stairs. The hooked-nosed man carried Ling Feng and Yu Rong in his embrace. He placed her on his thighs and swept his gaze across the surroundings. Boom! An invisible ripple swept out. All the customers, including the restaurant attendants, were instantly annihilated. Not even dregs were left. Ling Feng and Yu Rong were so frightened that their faces turned pale. She knew that the enemy was terrifying, but casually killing innocent people still caused her heart to tighten. Who exactly is he? I also have the strength of a peak stage god monarch. Even if he is at the early stages of God Emperor, he shouldn't be able to capture me so easily. Could he be at the middle stages of God Emperor? Ling Feng and Yu Rong couldn't help but guess. The enemy was powerful and vicious. Ling Feng and Yu Rong felt incomparably anxious. But now, her strength was completely sealed. She couldn't even control her communication treasure. Don't be afraid. The hooked-nosed man smiled. I killed them, but I can't bear to kill you. As long as you accompany me properly, I won't kill you before I get tired of you. As he spoke, he even sniffed Ling Feng and Yu Rong's face. Amen. Even your aura is mesmerizing. Who exactly are you? With your strength, you shouldn't be without any reputation. Ling Feng and Yu Rong couldn't help but ask. Of course I have to change my appearance. Otherwise, if I were to be recognized, wouldn't the entire High Wind City be frightened? The hooked-nosed man smiled. His hands caressed Ling Feng, and with a tearing sound, he had already torn apart a portion of Ling Feng and Yu Rong's clothes. This caused Ling Feng and Yu Rong to feel even more indignant. But with her strength sealed, she couldn't resist at all. Stop! An enraged roar followed. One after another, figures flew into the second floor of the restaurant. The one in the lead was a muscular man. He was the High Wind City Master. Behind him were many other peak stage god monarchs. These peak stage god monarchs had already linked their auras to form a battle formation. Let go of my daughter. High Wind City Master roared furiously. However, he was still cautious in his heart. Let go. The hooked-nosed man smiled. His facial features started to change. White fur appeared on his forehead, and golden scales could be seen on his face. Crane, Cave God Emperor? High Wind City Master's face turned pale. This Crane Cave God Emperor had massacred countless people. He was also the one who loved beauties. The reason why he massacred people was because of beauties. In the future, your daughter will be a part of my collection, Crane Cave God Emperor said calmly. As for your High Wind clan, you have two choices. First, be completely annihilated by me. Second, your High Wind City Master commits suicide and allow me to pick 100 beauties from your High Wind clan. As for the rest of your High Wind clan, I can be merciful and let them live. Crane Cave God Emperor, this is my High Wind City. Don't go overboard. High Wind City Master raged. Two choices. One was to annihilate his clan. The other was to commit suicide and choose 100 beauties. This was a humiliation to the High Wind clan. Quickly choose. I will give you 10 breaths of time. If you don't choose, I will choose for you. I will annihilate your entire High Wind clan. Crane Cave God Emperor brought a wine cup to High Wind Yurong's mouth. Come, let's drink together. High Wind Yurong shook her head. However, an invisible force was controlling her, causing her to be unable to struggle. She couldn't help but open her mouth and pour the wine in. In my hands, you won't be able to commit suicide or resist. You better listen to me obediently and make me happy. Otherwise, you will know, sometimes death is a happy thing. Crane Cave God Emperor smiled. However, this smile caused High Wind Yurong's heart to turn cold. She was in despair, not only for her own fate, but also for the entire High Wind clan. 1098, Crane Cave God Emperor said leisurely. High Wind City Master was trembling. The God Monarch experts under him were also panicking and in despair. In fact, all of them were transmitting anxiously. There were also some young men who were looking at their young miss being humiliated. They were filled with grief and indignation. 543. Crane Cave God Emperor admired the expressions of the people around him. High Wind City Master wanted to fight to the death. But regarding Crane Cave God Emperor's past battle achievements, the outcome of resisting was the annihilation of the entire clan. How can this be? Who can save me? Who can save my clan? High Wind Yurong was in despair. Suddenly, a figure stepped through the void and entered the second floor of the inn. The person who came was a white-robed man with a divine sword on his back. Ooh, all of them turned their heads over. Crane Cave God Emperor frowned as he looked over. There was actually someone who dared to enter at this moment. Was he courting death? This white-robed man's aura was ordinary to begin with. He was just at the God Monarch stage. He swept his gaze and said, Crane Cave God Emperor, you are plundering women again? So much vengeful energy and karma. This is really... As the white-robed man spoke, his aura suddenly exploded. It was so strong that it struck fear in one's heart. That aura caused Crane Cave God Emperor's expression to change. But the white-robed man just shook his head and sighed. He pointed with his finger. Pung! Crane Cave God Emperor's body trembled. The surrounding void distorted. Following which, Crane Cave God Emperor's eyes dimmed. With a put-on sound, he fell to the ground. High Wind Yurong stood up. She looked in disbelief at the lifeless corpse of Crane Cave God Emperor. Chapter 1319. Crane Cave God Emperor was dead. As a mid-stage God Emperor expert, compared to the master of Demon Heart Society, Crane Cave God Emperor was one of the 3 disciples of the Great Circle Supreme, God Emperor Palace Master Gosi. He was killed just like that? Was this white-robed male with a divine sword not afraid of Palace Master Gosi's revenge? So terrifying. High Wind City Master looked at the white-robed male in shock. With a single finger, he killed Crane Cave God Emperor and even caused the surrounding void to distort. There are only a handful of God Emperor late-stage experts who can do this. Usually, only the Great Circle God Emperor can do this, killing a mid-stage God Emperor in a single move. It was indeed terrifying. 99% of God Emperor late-stage experts would not be this strong. What he did not know was that although Dongbo Shueting executed the Tao of Void on the surface, in reality, he executed the Mirage and Illusory Realm killer move. Before comprehending the third killer move, even the weaker God Generals of Broken Teeth Mountain Range, mid-stage God Emperor, would fall in front of him much less the third killer move, which was now several times stronger. Crane Cave God Emperor Soul was extinguished without any resistance. Thank you, Senior, for saving my daughter and my entire High Wind clan. High Wind City Master bowed respectfully and shed tears of gratitude. Thank you, Senior, for saving my life. High Wind Yurong's body circulated with light and her clothes were restored. She looked at the white-robed male whose aura was as sharp as a sword. She felt both gratitude and admiration. There is no need to thank me. Donghua Shui-Ing walked over and kept Crane Cave God Emperor's corpse. He looked at High Wind City Master and High Wind Yurong. Now that Crane Cave God Emperor is dead, with Palace Master Gosi's character, he will not let this matter rest. I am not afraid of him, but you guys better prepare yourself. Don't let him vent his anger on you. Yes, High Wind City Master's heart tightened, but he did not panic, because the situation now was much better than before. For example, the Crane Cave God Emperor had given him two choices. No matter which one it was, he, the High Wind City Lord, would have to die. This was because the Crane Cave God Emperor was very cautious. Now that a huge enmity had been formed, the early stage God Emperor High Wind City Master must die. Because the initial stage of God Emperor, although it was difficult to break through, who knew if one day he would break through to the middle stage of God Emperor? At that time, he would have the qualifications to threaten the God Emperor of the Crane Cave. So he had to kill him. But now, the one who killed Crane Cave was this mysterious expert in front of them. Although Palace Master Gosi was infamous, he was ultimately in existence at the Great Circle of God Emperor, honorable level. This time, their High Wind clan was also the one being bullied. As long as they temporarily left High Wind City, Palace Master Gosi would not bother to chase after them. Hurry up and get ready. Donghua Shui-Ing waved his hand lightly and turned to walk out, following which he turned into a stream of light and flew out of the second floor of the inn. On the streets outside, there were already many passers-by watching this scene from afar. These natives of the deity world were naturally strong. Although they were far away and there were some buildings blocking their view, they could still see everything that happened on the second floor of the inn. They also knew that the Crane Cave God Emperor had died, killed by the white-robed man. So powerful, killed in a single move. The Crane Cave God Emperor did not even have the strength to resist. This High Wind clan is really lucky to have met with such a huge problem. The High Wind City Lord was about to die, but there was actually such an expert in our High Wind City. Seeing the injustice, he killed the Crane Cave God Emperor and saved them. The Crane Cave God Emperor was one of the 3 disciples of Palace Master Gosi. His background is really impressive. This expert actually dared to kill him. With this expert's ability to kill the Crane Cave God Emperor in a single move, he might even be a Grand Circle God Emperor. Naturally, he dared to kill him. He doesn't care about Palace Master Gosi's face. Many of the natives of the deity world watched as they transmitted their voices to each other. At the same time, they quickly left. They could not stay in such a dangerous place for long. On the second floor of the inn, quick, High Wind City Lord was also decisive. He swept his gaze across the surroundings and ordered, "We are also the ones who were humiliated." Although Palace Master Ghost C would not go to the extent of purposely chasing after small characters like us, it is very likely that he would vent his anger on us. So quickly, the entire High Wind clan will split into 10 teams and board large ships to enter the Great Wilderness. We will temporarily avoid this calamity. After some time, we will gradually return. Yes. All of them acknowledged the order. So. They all turned into streams of light and rapidly flew out of the second floor of the inn. The entire High Wind clan was mobilized at the fastest speed possible. They had to be careful. If they had any wishful thinking, a casual move from that Palace Master Gosi would be enough to wipe out the entire clan. Donghua Shui-Ing changed into a black robe. His aura had also become much gentler. His early-stage God Monarch aura remained in High Wind City. In an unremarkable inn by the side of the road, he ordered a few dishes and a flask of wine. He slowly drank the wine and ate the dishes by himself. Palace Master Ghost C is quite protective. He should be taking action immediately. Dongbua Shuang thought. The moment he killed the God Emperor in the Crane Cave, with Palace Master Ghost C's strength, he would be extremely sensitive to karma. If his disciple's karma suddenly disappeared, he would definitely come to investigate. If he flies slowly, by the time he arrives, the culprit, would already be long gone. Thus, Palace Master Ghost C should be seeking help from experts to rush here at the fastest speed possible. Although the great world-breaking teleportation technique was rare, there were still similar techniques. Only the strongest late-stage, ascendant God Emperor of the Tao of Void could execute it. However, there were many experts in the deity world. They had all sorts of strange bloodlines and talents. Those who could travel through long distances in the deity world could be counted with one's fingers. These few had high statuses. Even the weakest had the combat strength of a late-stage God Emperor. In addition, they would immediately teleport and escape whenever the situation turned bad. Naturally, not many could do anything to them. To be able to travel through long distances in the deity world, even the three great royal clans treated them as esteemed guests. A grand perfection God Emperor expert had extremely high statuses in the deity world. There were only slightly more than 30 such experts in the entire deity world. Most of them could seek help from experts who could travel through long distances. Mn. After drinking half of the wine and emptying 2 plates of dishes, Dongbua Shuang raised his head and looked into the distance. In the distant sky, suddenly, there was a resplendent starlight. In a passage filled with resplendent starlight, 2 figures appeared from the starlight. One was a plump male wearing a loose robe. There was even a horn on his forehead that was emitting a bizarre starlight. Beside him was a black-robed, skinny old man exuding a towering, baleful aura. When he swept his gaze around, the countless citizens of the High Wind City could feel a pressure on their souls, even though they couldn't see the expert in the air. He is here. Dongbua Shuang placed down his wine cup in this wine shop. He watched silently. Palace Master Ghost C. Currently, the entire High Wind clan has fled in different directions. Those left behind in the city are all ordinary civilians. I hope you won't vent your anger on these civilians. Otherwise, even though I'm not willing to fight with a supreme, there are times when I have no choice but to retreat. Back in the Realm Heart Great Land, when he was still relatively weak, he dared to fight against Undying Underworld Emperor. He even destroyed the sacrificial offering of Undying Underworld Emperor. It was a good thing that Dongbua Shuang killed Crane, Cave God Emperor. But he did not wish for the civilians in the city to be implicated. The moment the other party showed signs of acting, that would be when Dongbua Shuang, acted. On the second floor of the restaurant where Crane Cave God Emperor fell, both Palace Master Ghost C and Shuang came here. The surrounding time flowed backwards to the point where Crane Cave God Emperor captured High Wind Yurong. Only then did the scene resume. Scenes of him killing other guests and attendants with a single glance, teasing High Wind Yurong, threatening the High Wind clan. But when a white-robed male carrying a god sword appeared in the scene, the moment the white-robed male looked over, the entire scene shattered. "It's him," Palace Master Ghost C said with a low voice. "I can't even see what happened at that time. Such power. But white-robed, carrying a god sword? In the entire god world, there wasn't a single one of such experts who could be ranked in the top 100. He acted stealthily and did not dare to reveal his true body. He only dared to conceal his aura and change his appearance. I doubt he is that strong. For a grand perfection expert like God Emperor, why would he act stealthily? Doing things openly was equivalent to committing evil. It was also unbridled and unbridled. Since he did not dare to act with his true identity, this white-robed male should be afraid of you, Palace Master Ghost C. Hence, he chose to disguise himself when dealing with Crane Cave God Emperor. A plump male chuckled by the side. Since he dared to kill my disciple, I'll absolutely not let him off. The eyes of Palace Master Ghost C were filled with coldness. Chapter 1320. That battle just now. There should be many who saw it, right? The plump man laughed. Amen. Palace head Gosi nodded. Instantly, a formless ripple spread out in all directions, quickly seeping into the souls of the nearest 10,000 deity realm citizens. Of these 10,000 deity realm citizens, the strongest was only at the middle stage, God Monarch stage. In front of a great circle God Emperor level expert, the difference in strength was too huge. He could easily inspect their souls and read through their memories. Of these 10,000 citizens, over 100 had personally witnessed what happened on the second floor of the restaurant. After all, the most dazzling young mistress of High Wind City had been captured. Naturally, the surrounding citizens were nervous and watched from afar. Although they did not dare to stay in a place of trouble, many of them hid in their own residences, who knew that even though they hid in their homes, they would still be inspected by their souls. Not only Palace Head Ghost C, the plump man Starwind City Master was also inspecting their souls. What? Palace Head Ghost C's expression changed. This? Starwind City Master was also stunned. They had read through many memories and saw the battle scene. All of it was the white-robed man pointing at God Emperor from afar. The space around Crane Cave God Emperor warped slightly before Crane Cave God Emperor fell to the ground. One move? Just one move? And so casually? Palace Head Ghost C's expression turned ugly. Previously, he thought that the other party was afraid of him, Palace Head Ghost C, since he was being secretive and did not dare to reveal his true identity. But now he saw that the other party killed Crane Cave God Emperor with just one move. Just one move? Starwind City Master sighed. Among the experts of God Emperor's late-stage strength, there are probably only 3 to 5 of them who can kill Crane Cave God Emperor in one move. The scariest thing is that this white-robed man did not even get close. Instead, he lightly tapped with his finger from afar. And even from a distance, he was able to kill Crane Cave God Emperor with such ease. It is almost certain that he is a Great Circle God Emperor. Not necessarily. It's also possible that the murderer changed the surrounding scenery and deliberately let the ordinary citizens of the Divine Realm see it, said Palace Lord Ghost C through clenched teeth. This might be a disguise and not real. What Brother Gue Hai said is possible. But looking at the traces left around the restaurant and the damage to the surrounding tables and walls caused by the distortion of the void, more than 80% of the scene is real. If it is a disguise, it can only be said that his disguise scene is too perfect. Starwind City Master said, "Help me see if there are any God Emperor level experts in this city," said Palace Master Ghost C. All right. Starwind City Lord nodded. Dongbua Shuang raised his wine cup and continued drinking. All of a sudden, spots of starlight appeared around him. These spots of starlight covered the entire city. The range of this domain is really big. Dongbua Shuang revealed a look of shock. These spots of starlight should be the Starwind City Master who was able to use this starlight traversal. Countless of starlight were probing the strength of every living being. However, Dongbua Shuang's soul had already reached such a level. If he were to disguise himself, even if Starwind City Master's probing was 10 times stronger, it would still be useless. The two of them. Dongbua Shuang raised his head to look. He saw that Palace Lord Ghost C and Starwind City Master had already flown out of the restaurant and were in midair. The two of them were observing the entire city. With Starwind City Master here, Palace Lord Ghost C shouldn't take his anger out on the innocent, right? Dongbua Shuang thought. Starwind City Master had a good temper and was able to make friends with various people. However, he did not have the temperament to slaughter the weak. Although Starwind City Master was slightly weaker, he was a late-stage God Emperor. But because of his sacred art, Starlight Traversal, his position was extremely high. He even addressed many God Emperor Great Circle experts as brothers, and the 3 royal families treated him with great respect. With Starwind City Master here, Palace Lord Ghost C should be more reserved. You dare to kill my disciple, yet you don't dare to reveal your identity? A voice filled with hostility swept through the entire city. Countless citizens of the divine realm were frightened to the point that their hearts trembled. The entire city quietened down. Palace Lord Ghost C's voice continued to reverberate in the sky above the city. I, Ghost C, will remember today's enmity. The voice filled with baleful aura stopped. Palace Lord Ghost C looked around and waited for a moment before speaking with Starwind City Master by the side. So, the starlight appeared once again. The two of them disappeared within the starlight and left Highwind City. Actually, although Palace Lord Ghost C was a great demon, he only did things like massacring an entire clan. Exterminating a city was still very rare. Furthermore, the murderer this time was Dongbua Shuang. Palace Lord Ghost C's target was Dongbua Shuang. If that early-stage God Emperor Highwind City Master was still here, he might have been captured. It was just that the people in the city were all weak. Starwind City Master's friend was still by the side, so he naturally could not start massacre. You will remember this enmity? Dongbua Shuang chuckled. The master of the Demon Heart Society should have said this in the past too. Dongbua Shuang chuckled as he continued eating and drinking. He was incredibly carefree. He was not afraid of that Palace Lord Ghost C. He disguised his identity and acted low profile because he came from another world. Not just him, even the similarly low-profile Great Emperor North River came from another world. In this world, it was natural for them to remain low-profile. The moment they acted in a high-profile manner, it was fine if they were ordinary experts, but they were afraid of those three chaotic origin ancestral gods. They were chaotic origin experts that created this world. How could Dongbua Shuang Ying and Great Emperor North River not be afraid of them? When they acted in a high-profile manner, it meant that the attraction of this world was limited, and it was time for them to leave. After eating and drinking to their heart's content, I've already gotten the dried realm leaf. I'm just left with the golden lightning, chaotic origin bead. Dongbua Shuang pondered. After all, there were quite a lot of dried realm leaves in the divine realm. It was relatively easy to collect them. He could simply collect a piece when he killed devils. But the golden lightning chaotic origin bead was the hardest to obtain because there were only 3 of them in the entire divine realm. They had huge origins. One was Golden Winged City Master, a late-stage God Emperor. He was ranked in the front amongst the group of late-stage God Emperors. He was ranked a shocking 39th on the God Emperor list. He was not much weaker than a Grand Perfection God Emperor Supreme. The other was an Ascendant God Emperor, Chun Yu God Emperor. He was a middle-stage God Emperor. As an Ascendant God Emperor, he was ranked 162nd on the God Emperor list. The other was Cloud Flow Pavilion Master, a middle-stage God Emperor. He was not an Ascendant, and was merely a middle-stage God Emperor. He was not much better than God Emperor Crane Cave. But he had the Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Bead. Many late-stage God Emperor experts were coveting it. Even Grand Perfection God Emperor experts were slightly moved. They were willing to snatch it for their juniors. But nobody snatched it. Why? Because this Cloud Flow Little Pavilion Master was the grandson of the Cloud Phoenix City Master. She doted on him a lot. And Cloud Phoenix City Master was a terrifying existence, ranked first on the God Emperor list. The 3 of them are not to be trifled with. Dongbua Shuang thought. Gold Feather City Master is the strongest. Being a native of the divine realm, he is clearly a late-stage God Emperor, yet his strength has almost reached the supreme level. But he is relying on external treasures like the Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Bead. If he did not have a few treasures, his strength would most likely fall to rank 80th or 90th on the God Emperor list. Dongbua Shuang thought. He was the strongest, and also the one he was least afraid of. By relying on treasures and bloodline energy, it was easy to deal with him. Under his 3rd Tao of Mirage and Illusory Realm killing technique, treasures and bloodline energy were useless. It was not bad that the other party could maintain his consciousness. Ascendant God Emperor, a middle-stage God Emperor. His soul and willpower are definitely formidable. If I did not create my 3rd killing technique, it would be hard to capture him. Dongbua Shuang thought, but now, it isn't hard to deal with him. The most troublesome one is this Cloud Flow Pavilion Master. Dongbua Shuang frowned. Cloud Flow Pavilion Master resided in Cloud Phoenix City. There was a terrifying expert who was ranked number 1 in the entire Divine Realm. She was ranked number 1 amongst a group of Grand Perfection God Emperor experts. According to her battle records, she was someone who had killed a Grand Perfection God Emperor in history. As for those who defeated and heavily injured God Emperor head-on, there were more than 10 of them. The main reason was because the Grand Perfection God Emperor wanted to spar and temper himself. That was why such a terrifying battle record was created. The one who was killed was too confident and offended Cloud Phoenix City Master. She killed a Grand Perfection God Emperor. Dongbua Shui Ying thought, could it be that this Cloud Phoenix City Master's strength is comparable to an Ascendant God Emperor who is a Grand Perfection God Emperor? Ascendants could fight against those of a higher level. Late-stage God Emperor Ascendants could fight against the Grand Perfection God Emperor subjects. How terrifying was a Grand Perfection Ascendant God Emperor? This divine realm, according to the information gathered by Dongbua Shui Ying, he deduced from the clues. There should have been at least 2 Grand Perfection God Emperor Ascendants, but both of them had disappeared. According to the information, among the 3 of them, Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master was pampered too much and was extremely arrogant. As a result, he committed the greatest sin. However, he was just arrogant, but his nature wasn't too bad. In fact, there were a few times where he was used. Dongbua Shuang thought. Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master's background was too huge. Naturally, there would be people who tried to use him. Golden Wing City Master's sin should be secondary. He was a vicious and merciless divine realm expert. However, he wasn't at the level of a great devil. Dongbua Shuang thought. This Golden Wing City Master was ruthless and merciless towards his enemies. This was considered normal among the experts of the divine realm. It was just that Golden Wing City Master frequently participated in all sorts of battles and massacres. The final Ascendant, God Emperor, is the most low profile. He only focuses on cultivation and rarely participates in battles. Of the 3 golden lightning chaotic origin beads, I want one. What should I do? Dongbua Shuang pondered. Chapter 1321. That Ascender, God Emperor, was eliminated by Dongbua Shuang first. The other party kept a low profile and focused on cultivation. Dongbua Shuang admired such cultivators. He would not act against such cultivators without any enmity. As for Goldwing City Master and Cloud Pavilion Little Pavilion Master, Dongbua Shuang was willing to act against them. Goldwing City Master massacred for treasures, slaughtered and fought. He was selfish and merciless. He wanted to eliminate all future troubles. For the sake of becoming stronger, he was willing to scheme and kill. He was definitely an ambitious and ruthless person. Although he was not categorized as a devil, Dongbua Shuang would not show mercy when killing such people. As for Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master, he was the complete opposite of Goldwing City Master. He did not have the heart to massacre, but many clans had been destroyed because of his authority. Countless lives had been lost. Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master could already be considered a devil. It was just that many of these things were done by his subordinates using his authority. However, this Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master is not innocent. He was ultimately a middle-stage God Emperor expert. How could he not know what his subordinates were doing? It's just that his subordinates coaxed him so much that he let them do as they pleased. Shuang pondered. All right, it's him, Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master. Dongbua Shuang made his decision. Although the number 1 expert on the God Emperor board, Cloud Phoenix City Master, was a huge deterrent, Dongbua Shuang knew that even if he could not defeat her, it would not be a problem for him to use the Great Destruction Realm teleportation technique to survive. Even though the other party was the number 1 expert in the divine world, she did not know any ultra-long distance teleportation techniques. In reality, the few experts in the divine world that could teleport, other than Ascenders, relied on their bloodline sacred arts. Cloud Phoenix City Master's ancestral god bloodline clearly did not specialize in ultra-long distance teleportation. It was just that she was terrifyingly strong. Let's go. Dong Buishuang paid for his meal and left High Wind City. He headed towards Cloud Phoenix City silently. Cloud Phoenix City was extremely large, spanning nearly 10 million miles. In the center of the city, there was a mountain range that was tens of thousands of miles high and stretched for hundreds of thousands of miles. The peak of the mountain was above the clouds, and the entire mountain range was filled with palaces. It was also known as the Cloud Phoenix Palace. Cloud Phoenix Palace. Dong Buishuang raised his head and looked at the mountain range. His gaze pierced through the clouds and saw a huge manor at the peak of the mountain. The #1 expert of the divine world lives there. Above her were the 3 chaotic origin ancestral gods who created this world. Fortunately, Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master won't always stay in Cloud Phoenix Manor. Dong Buishuang revealed a smile. The little floor master of the Cloud Tower had an arrogant personality and loved to enjoy life. He even built his own caged cloud tower. As the floor master, this caged cloud tower was filled with all sorts of pleasures. Most of the time, he would be in the caged cloud tower. Occasionally, he would go to other places in Cloud Phoenix City to enjoy himself. As for leaving the city, traveling to other places in the divine world would create a huge disturbance. Most of the time, there would be a total of 3 late-stage God Emperor protecting Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master. They had no choice. Cloud Phoenix City Master was so powerful. There were more than 20 late-stage God Emperors who chose to rely on her. But the late-stage God Emperor placed great importance on cultivation too. In Cloud Phoenix City, there is only one late-stage God Emperor who followed this Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master for a long period of time. The only grandson of Cloud Phoenix City Master. Dong Buishuang sighed inwardly. I've heard that Cloud Phoenix City Master once had a son and a daughter. During the period when she was imprisoned by a great enemy, her children had all died, leaving behind this only grandson. The growth of Cloud Phoenix City Master had been through many trials and tribulations before she reached where she was today. I have reached the Cage Cloud Tower. Dong Buishuang followed his karma senses and strolled around Cloud Phoenix City. Soon, he arrived before a tall building. This building occupied a huge area. It was so tall that it pierced through the cloud layer. It was the #1 entertainment place in the entire Cloud Phoenix City. He is up there. Dong Buishuang looked up. Cage Cloud Tower. Pavilion Master. A black-robed youth was smiling. His eyes were like a fox's. Behind him were 6 young girls. All of them had peerless looks and auras. It was just that when these young girls looked at the back of the black-robed youth, their eyes were filled with hatred. But they had no choice. The lives and deaths of many of their kin and clansmen were in the hands of this black-robed youth. Come in. A voice came from within. Only then did the black-robed youth carefully push open the door. Within the hall, an extremely fat man was currently sitting there, and there was a purple-clothed female attendant serving him by his side. He was currently taking big mouthfuls of food. This extremely fat man was the only grandson of the Cloud Phoenix City Master, Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master. Oh, this Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master raised his head and looked at the 6 young girls with extraordinary looks and auras. They had different auras, but when the 6 of them stood together, they looked like a painting. Just looking at them was an absolute enjoyment. These are the 6 sisters that this subordinate had painstakingly found. The black-robed youth said fawningly, Pavilion Master, you will know how they taste after experiencing them. Amen. Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master revealed a smile. Good. Not bad. Chin Fu, you can withdraw for now. Even though he knew that some of his subordinates were using the tiger's might to intimidate others, it was precisely because they were able to coax him that he did not mind. For example, this black-robed youth in front of him was one of his 3 most favored subordinates. The early-stage God Emperor Chun Fu, God Emperor. He was most proficient in taming women. The black-robed youth, God Emperor Chin Fu, immediately retreated with a smile and closed the door. Only Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master, The violet-robed female attendant and the 6 young girls were left in the hall. "All of you come over." Cloud Flow, little pavilion master's chubby hand beckoned. "Yes, pavilion master." The 6 young girls immediately went over. The violet-robed female attendant smiled as she watched everything. She was completely loyal to her master and served him. She was also Cloud Flow, little pavilion master's most trusted female attendant. He would not avoid this female attendant for many matters. To Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, this female attendant was his kin. As for Chun Fu, God Emperor, and the others, they were just dogs that he raised. Suddenly, Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, felt slightly dizzy. "Where's this place?" Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, looked at his surroundings in shock. This was a sinister prison. "What's happening to me? Why is my strength sealed?" Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, discovered in shock that he was tied to a pillar. There were other pillars by the side, and there were other people tied to the pillars as well. It's Chun Fu and the others. Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, immediately recognized them. The people tied to the pillars were his 3 most beloved subordinates. Those 3 subordinates gradually woke up. "What's going on?" This pavilion master is here as well." "Pavilion master, quickly ask the city lord to come and save us." Those 3 subordinates shouted out in fear. "My strength has been sealed. I can't send a message." Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, was anxious. Creak. The door of this sinister prison suddenly opened. A white-robed youngster with a divine sword on his back walked in. He coldly swept his gaze across the 4 of them before his gaze landed on Cloud Flow, little pavilion master. "Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, you have committed countless sins. Today shall be the day you die." Saying that, he pulled out the divine sword on his back. I didn't. Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, was extremely terrified. "You still don't want to admit it? Do you want me to say it out loud?" "That Iron Flame clan was exterminated because of you, Sword Universe sect." The white-robed youngster started to speak. "It's not me, it's them. Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, said. His 3 tied subordinates were also terrified. It was just that they did not dare to evade in fear of offending Cloud Flow, little pavilion master. "Don't worry, the 3 of them will die too," the white-robed youngster said. The 3 were startled. "It has nothing to do with us. We are only Cloud Flow, little pavilion master subordinates. We were ordered by pavilion master. We can't not listen to orders. Please spare us, spare us." The 3 subordinates immediately begged. No matter what, they had to survive first. "You guys," Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, was furious. "Stop evading. The 3 of you are evil. Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, you have connived with them. All of you deserve to die." The white-robed youngster immediately waved his sword and pierced the body of one of the tied subordinates. That subordinate's body immediately trembled before turning into ashes. So. After 3 consecutive sword strikes, the 3 subordinates were all turned into dust. The white-robed youngster walked towards Cloud Flow, little pavilion master. Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, was extremely terrified. "Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Whatever you want, I will give it to you. My grandmother is Cloud Phoenix City Master. You should know that I can treat today's matter as if nothing happened. Whatever you want, I can help you." It's too late. When you connived with your subordinates, you already knew that such a day would come. The white-robed youngster waved his sword. Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, revealed an expression of terror and despair. "Ooh, no. Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, suddenly opened his eyes. He discovered that he was still in the hall. The 6 young girls and the purple-robed female attendant had similarly collapsed on the ground. At this moment, they had awakened one after another. All of them revealed an expression of doubt. Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, hurriedly climbed up and inspected himself. I didn't die. He revealed an expression of joy. "Where are my treasures? All my treasures are gone?" Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, was extremely shocked. All of the storage treasures and other items that he brought along with him were gone. Today is just a small punishment. If Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, continues acting like this, the next time will truly be the time of your death. A voice rumbled within Cloud. Flow, little pavilion master's soul. Cloud Flow, little pavilion master's expression changed. He knew everything that seemed to have happened in the dream just now was indeed done by a mysterious expert. To be able to silently cause him to fall into a dream, that expert would most likely be able to kill him silently as well. He would not be able to resist at all. Actually, Domeboy Shuang did not kill him. Firstly, it was because his grandmother was the #1 expert in Divine Realm, Cloud Phoenix City Master. If he really killed him, Cloud Phoenix City Master would definitely go crazy. That might affect his peaceful life. Secondly, Cloud Flow, little pavilion master himself, was not a devil. He only turned a blind eye to his subordinates' actions. Due to these two reasons, he was spared. Boom! A figure smashed through the door and charged in. It was a stern old man. This stern old man was relieved when he saw that Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, was safe. At the same time, he said, "Pavilion master, Chun Fu and the other two are dead." Chapter 1322. They're all dead. Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, felt his heart trembling when he heard that. Indeed, he could no longer sense the karma of Chun Fu and the other two. What happened in my dream has indeed appeared in reality. Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, was filled with terror. In that dream, his 3 subordinates had died. He had died too, and in reality, he was the only one still alive, especially when he had lost all his treasures. If the other party could take away all his personal treasures, killing him would be much easier. One had to know that many treasures were refined. Some could even be hidden in a drop of blood. For the other party to easily take away his treasures, it was clear that the other party had complete control over his life. The other party had directly dealt with his 3 subordinates. This filled Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, with terror. He was afraid that it would be his turn the next time. "Hurry up and inform my grandmother. Tell her that I am in danger of dying," Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, urged. "I should report to the city master." The cold old man was slightly puzzled. Why did Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, not inform his grandmother himself? How would he know that Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, had lost all his treasures? Even his communication treasure was gone. "Hurry up," Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, urged. "Yes," the cold old man acknowledged. Very soon, a terrifying aura descended. A white-haired absolute beauty walked in. The aura she emitted felt like a boundless world. The cold old man, who was a late-stage god emperor, trembled at this moment, because Cloud Phoenix City Master could kill a late-stage god emperor like him with a single move. After all, she had personally killed a Grand Perfection God Emperor. In the entire God Emperor ranking list, only Cloud Phoenix City Master could do so. Of course, there were some at the Grand Perfection God Emperor, like the innate chaotic origin life form Hidden Willow Valley Master. His true body was a huge tree. His life force was heaven-defying. Cloud Phoenix City Master could not deal with him, but she could absolutely suppress him. By the side of Cloud Peak City Master followed a red-haired girl. This red-haired girl had an extraordinary aura. She was an innate chaotic origin life form at the Grand Perfection God Emperor, Fire Phoenix God Emperor. She and Cloud Phoenix City Master were like sisters. "Cloud Flow, what happened?" When Cloud Phoenix City Master looked at her grandson, her voice had turned much gentler. When she saw her grandson, she immediately thought of her son and daughter who had already perished. "Everyone else, retreat. Everyone retreat," Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, shouted. Immediately, everyone in the hall retreated. Only Cloud Phoenix City Master, Fire Phoenix God Emperor, and Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, were left. "Grandmother, I nearly died," Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, said in terror. "Oh, tell me one by one." Cloud Phoenix City Master frowned when she heard that, but a baleful aura appeared. "Yes," Cloud Flow, little pavilion master, explained everything in detail. Cloud Phoenix City Master frowned slightly when she heard that. To be able to silently cause you to fall into an illusion, you are after all a middle-stage God Emperor. The 3 strongest subordinates of yours that died were also middle-stage God Emperor. None of them had the strength to resist. The three of them had their souls extinguished. There are many people coming and going in the Cage Cloud Pavilion. I have even arranged for late-stage God Emperor experts to stand guard here, yet none of them detected anything at all. An illusory realm is silent. Fire Phoenix God Emperor said from the side, but I've never heard of such a formidable illusory realm in the entire divine realm. It is very difficult to cultivate in the illusory realm. This is considered a soul aspect. Amen, Cloud Phoenix City Master nodded. Firstly, an unprecedented soul aspect expert might have appeared. Secondly, it might be a native of the divine realm who grasped a powerful illusory realm-related bloodline ability. Thirdly, it might be a new innate chaotic origin life form that came to our world. Who knows, there might be an innate chaotic origin life form that specializes in the illusory realm. No matter which one it is, he is really daring to come to my Cloud Phoenix City and deal against my grandson. Cloud Phoenix City Master coldly said, but he is only giving a warning. He did not harm my grandson. In the future, I'll punish that person before letting him go. Cloud Phoenix City Master said. She waved her hand. The surrounding time began reversing. It began showing the scenes that happened previously. It's just that Dongbua Shui Ying had executed his mirage and illusory realm that prevented the scenes from being shown. Unable to reverse time, Cloud Phoenix City Master sneered. She lightly waved her hand, causing the clouds to condense into a mirror. The mirror began showing everything that happened previously. The mirror showed, within the hall, Cloud Flow Little Pavilion Master, the female attendant, and the six sisters had all fallen into a deep sleep. The door was pushed open. A white-robed young man with a divine sword on his back walked in just like that. Several people had fallen outside the door too. One of them was that Shun Fu God Emperor. After the white-robed young man walked in, he waved his hand, causing many treasures on Cloud Flow Little Pavilion Master to fly out and land in the hands of the white-robed young man. Selah, following that, a black crack appeared. The white-robed young man stepped into it before disappearing. Amen? Cloud Phoenix City Master and Fire Phoenix God Emperor were both startled. Even though the two of them were incredibly powerful, there were only a few in the entire divine realm who could teleport through an ultra-long distance. An unprecedentedly terrifying illusory realm and ultra-long distance teleportation. Who exactly is this? Cloud Phoenix City Master felt that the threat of this white-robed young man was incredibly high. At the very least, if he wanted to assassinate her grandson, she could not protect him at all. After all, she could not block the illusory realm for her grandson. A white-robed young man with a divine sword on his back? Who is he? There isn't such an expert amongst the apex experts in the divine realm. Fire Phoenix God Emperor felt puzzled. Is he an ascendant? A native of the divine realm? Or an innate chaotic origin life form? Taking a humanoid form could similarly be an innate chaotic origin life form. For instance, she, Fire Phoenix God Emperor, was an innate chaotic origin life form that took a humanoid form. Do you understand now? Cloud Phoenix City Master looked at her grandson. Cloud Flow Little Pavilion Master, I can't help you block all the enemies. If this mysterious expert wants to kill you, he can do so stealthily. In the future, remember to restrain those subordinates of yours. I know. Cloud Flow Little Pavilion Master hurriedly acknowledged. Now that he was so close to death, how would he dare to continue conniving? After all, even though he did not care about the lives of the weak, he had no interest in slaughter. What he liked was enjoyment. Amen. Cloud Phoenix City Master felt relieved inwardly. The other party did not kill her grandson. Clearly, he did not wish to form an enmity. Since he did not kill her grandson this time, as long as her grandson restrained his subordinates, he would not kill them again in the future. Perhaps this time, it was a form of warning to her grandson. It would let her grandson understand that there were still people who could threaten his life in this divine realm. But who exactly is this person? Even though Cloud Phoenix City Master did not feel any threat, she understood that this mysterious expert was much more threatening to the other God Emperor. Big Sister, with such strength, it is impossible for him to remain unknown forever. As time passes, he'll be exposed. Fire Phoenix God Emperor chuckled. By then, we can go and spar with him. Dongbua Shui Ying had already arrived at Iron Dragon City. I've finally gathered everything. Dongbua Shui Ying was filled with anticipation. He had gathered both the dried realm leaf and the golden lightning chaotic origin bead. He did not care about these items that would be of great help to the natives of the divine realm. But that corpse of an innate chaotic origin life form with the void lineage was something he desired. Even though there were innate chaotic origin life forms in the Broken Teeth Mountain Range over at the Realm Heart Great Land, they were few in number. There were none with the void lineage. In this world, there were many more innate chaotic origin life forms, and there were only 3 with the void lineage. It was sufficient for him to obtain one. After all, it was of the void lineage, and the majority of this chaotic origin life form corpse was a manifestation of the Tao of Void. This wasn't like those desolate beasts. Most innate chaotic origin life forms had huge bodies. Every single scale had to be carefully studied. Just studying through it once would take a long time. It was absolutely the best target for him to comprehend the Tao of Void. It was more precious than any scripture. Iron Dragon Hall, in front of the residence. The protector looked at the white-robed male who carried a divine sword on his back. He could not help but feel startled, because not too long ago, this Azure Cloud God Emperor came to visit. Azure Cloud God Emperor. The protector asked, I wonder what matter God Emperor is here for. Please relay that I want to meet the Crown Prince. Dongbua Shuang said. Chapter 1323. Very soon, Dongbua Shui Ying was able to enter this Iron Dragon Hall. The hall was vast. He walked under the guidance of the guards. Amen. The guard leading the way suddenly trembled. He was so frightened that he bowed respectfully. He did not even dare to raise his head. Dongbua Shui Ying was startled. He could not help but stop and look ahead. There was currently a gray-robed male leisurely walking in the hall. He was looking at the surrounding scenery. The surrounding female attendants and guard were all bowing down without daring to raise their heads. This simple-looking gray-robed male seemed ordinary, and he did not have any unique aura. But after Shui Ying's soul reached this stage, his senses had reached an unfathomable stage. He could feel the endless, terrifying energy within this simple-looking gray-robed male. That was a power that made him tremble uncontrollably. Iron Dragon City Master. Dongbua Shui Ying felt startled. I have once seen Palace Master Go See from afar. Palace Master Go See is also a grand perfection God Emperor expert. But when I sense him, the degree of threat he poses is far weaker than this Iron Dragon City Master. One could deduce this from the ranking on the God Emperor list. Palace Master Go See was one of the weakest characters amongst the group of Grand Perfection God Emperors. An Iron Dragon City Master was ranked 7th on the God Emperor list. One had to know, ranked in the top 10, there were several strongest existences that originated from the 3 great royal clans. They were the closest descendants of the 3 chaotic origin ancestral gods. They were also the most terrifying innate chaotic origin life forms. For Iron Dragon City Master to be ranked 7th, he naturally had his frightening aspects. Amen. The gray-robed Iron Dragon City Master glanced at Dongbua Shuang. He felt slightly puzzled. With a glance, he could ascertain that the aura emitted by Dongbua Shui Ying was that of a late-stage God Emperor expert, disguised aura. He did not care about this strength, just that he could not recognize the identity of Dongbua Shuang. Clearly, this could be a disguised identity. It seems he is also a guest of Cloud Mountain. Iron Dragon City Master no longer cared about this matter. He had left the matters of his subordinates to his eldest son. He only wanted to become a chaotic origin life form. After Iron Dragon City Master left, only then did the guard dare to stand up straight. He hurriedly said to Dongbua Shuang, Clear Sky God Emperor, follow me. Dongbua Shuang nodded his head while thinking in his heart. Even if they are at the same God Emperor Great Circle stage, there are still differences in strength. That God Emperor board's number 1, Cloud Phoenix City Lord, had even killed a God Emperor Great Circle stage before. She should be able to match up against a God Emperor Great Circle Ascender God Emperor. This Iron Dragon City Master is not someone to be trifled with. God Emperor, a grand perfection ascendant, God Emperor should represent a pinnacle beneath the chaotic origin expert. In the garden, Dongbua Shui Ying saw the eldest young master of the Iron Dragon Hall. He was still dressed in loose black robes, leisurely leaning on the chair. When he saw Dongbua Shui Ying, the eldest young master smiled and said, "I just saw Brother Qingyun yesterday. It has only been a day. Why is Brother Qingyun here so soon? Unless there is some good news?" The eldest young master was indeed puzzled, because Dongbua Shui Ying's actions were too fast. Initially, he spent quite some time gathering intelligence. After killing Crane Cave God Emperor, he merely ate some food before going to get the Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Bead from Cloud Flow, Little Pavilion Master. After that, he relied on the Great Destruction Realm teleportation technique to rush over. Crane Cave God Emperor had just died, and the Heavenswell Pavilion was still investigating the situation to find out who the murderer was. The Heavenswell Pavilion had yet to spread the news to the outside world. Eldest Young Master mentioned previously that if you want that Void Lineage Chaotic Origin Lifeform Corpse, you have to exchange it with a piece of dried realm leaf and a Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Bead, right? Dongbua Shui Ying asked. Right, this condition is not negotiable. It is impossible for me to lower it. The eldest young master nodded. He then chuckled. Naturally, if you are willing to give me treasures that are several times more valuable, I don't mind either. Regardless of whether it was the Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Bead or that Void Lineage Chaotic Origin Lifeform Corpse, they were both top-notch treasures in the Divine Realm. Several times more valuable. That should be a miraculous item that could greatly aid in breaking through to the Grand Perfection God Emperor Realm. It was impossible for the Divine Realm to nurture such miraculous items. They were bestowed to the 3 great royal clans by the 3 chaotic origin ancestral gods. I have already prepared the dried realm leaf and the Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Bead. Dongbua Shui Ying said. The eldest young master was stunned. He swept his gaze to the side. The 2 girls by his side immediately retreated, leaving behind only Dongbua Shui Ying and the eldest young master. Are you prepared? The eldest young master did not dare believe it. He had even used karma to sense those 3 existences: Cloudflow Little Pavilion Master, Golden Wing City Master, and God Emperor Chunyu. There were a total of 3 Golden Lightning Chaotic Origin Beads in this divine realm, and they were in the hands of these 3 existences. The karma of the 3 of them is still there. Clearly, they are still alive and well. Furthermore, he just came to find me yesterday. Today, he said that he has gathered everything. Unless he has prepared for it? The eldest young master pondered. That's right, too. I have mentioned my conditions to other experts who wanted to get that chaotic origin lifeform corpse before. It is possible that he has heard about it, too. Hence, he has prepared beforehand. It's just that the dried realm leaf is something that I requested for. Why did he spend a day to prepare? The 3 of them are still alive and well. It seems he has traded with one of the 3 existences. The eldest young master guessed. In the opinion of the eldest young master, the other party did not kill others to snatch their treasures. Naturally, they had to trade treasures. Huh. The eldest young master laughed. Brother Azure Cloud said that he has prepared everything. Can I have a look? Dongbua Shui Ying nodded. He waved his hand. At that moment, 2 items floated in front of him. One was a seemingly withered leaf that did not have any life force. The veined patterns on the leaf were incredibly clear, yet there was a faint, mysterious energy revolving on this withered leaf. The other item was a bead with golden lightning revolving on its surface. The interior of the bead was completely gray, making it hard to see through. The surface of the bead was covered with many law inscriptions. The energy contained within the bead would naturally manifest as golden lightning through these law inscriptions. The energy contained within the bead was incredibly vast and powerful. Dongbua Shui Ying once again looked at this golden lightning chaotic origin bead. he was still praising it, because the golden lightning chaotic origin bead contained an endless amount of chaotic origin energy. After passing through the bead, the chaotic origin energy would transform into golden lightning. It was truly mystical. Good. The eldest young master's eyes brightened. He became excited. He had desired for the golden lightning chaotic origin bead for far too long. Admirable, admirable. Brother Azure Cloud has actually prepared everything so quickly. The eldest young master chuckled. He flipped his hand and brought out a storage treasure. Dongbua Shui Ying extended his senses. He did not feel any obstruction at all. When he saw the mountain-sized corpse lying within this storage Eden treasure, he could not help but reveal a grin. Then is the transaction done? The eldest young master looked at Dongbua Shui Ying with a smile. Of course. Dongbua Shui Ying nodded. The eldest young master took that storage treasure. He grinned as he looked at the two treasures floating in front of Dongbua Shui Ying. He did not say anything else. Dongbua Shui Ying understood. He waved his hand, causing the dried realm leaf and golden lightning chaotic origin bead to fly over. Awesome. The eldest young master waved his hand too, but as he waved his hand, his palm expanded, grabbing the dried realm leaf and golden lightning chaotic origin bead. Following that, he looked at Dongbua Shui Ying with a smile that did not seem like a smile. Eldest young master, what is the meaning of this? Dongbua Shui Ying's expression changed. When experts transacted, they would exchange treasures. If it were cultivators, they might be restricted by oaths. But to those who cultivated bloodline, it was hard to restrict them. They could only do it in the safest way. Haha, brother Azure Cloud. Why do you trust me, Iron Dragon Cloud Mountain, with such treasures? The eldest young master laughed. It's a pity that I don't trust myself that much. Now that the treasures are in my hands, you can forget about getting them. Are you snatching them by force? Dongbua Shui Ying said. So what if I snatch them by force? I advise you to leave now. In Iron Dragon City, nobody dares to be impudent with me. The eldest young master sneered. This was Iron Dragon City. With the help of some arrays in his territory, he dared to fight against God Emperor at the Grand Perfection Realm. Furthermore, his father was ranked 7th on the God Emperor list. Even though it was despicable for him to be greedy for treasures, who could do anything to him? Fool! Dongbua Shui Ying's eyes turned cold. Huh! A terrifying illusory realm enveloped the eldest young master, dragging his soul into it. The eldest young master only felt the world spinning. His soul felt like it was falling. He struggled with all his might. Even his senses towards his fleshy body had become blurred. He was terrified. He tried his best to maintain a strand of consciousness. Father, save me. Under this strand of consciousness, he barely transmitted a message to his father, Iron Dragon City Master. He only felt waves of pain coming from his soul. Under this pain, his soul was weakening. At that moment, he could no longer resist and fell into oblivion. He continued falling, and falling. He fell into that vast, illusory realm that seemed to be filled with endless attraction. Who? Dongbua Shui Ying took a step before grabbing hold of the fleshy body of the eldest young master. With a wave of his hand, many treasures flew into his hands. Be it the dried realm leaf, the golden lightning chaotic origin bead, or even the storage treasures that belonged to the eldest young master. He kept them all. You are too confident. Do you really think nobody can do anything to you in Iron Dragon City? Who dares to be impudent in my Iron Dragon Hall? A cold voice resounded. That simple-looking, gray-robed male's figure blurred before appearing in the garden. He stared coldly at Shui Ying. An endless amount of terrifying killing intent engulfed the world like an endless sea wave. Chapter 1324. Iron Dragon City Master was incomparably startled. He did not think that his eldest son, who had reached the late stage of God Emperor, Iron Dragon Cloud Mountain, would actually ask him for help and be captured so quickly. Furthermore, I did not sense any disturbance from the battle at all. It seems that it has ended without even fighting? Iron Dragon City Master did not dare believe it. He He was within his residence. If there was a battle, how could it be hidden from him? Iron Dragon City Master. Dongboi Shuang said. Who are you? Iron Dragon City Master coldly said, plotting against my son. What exactly do you want? In the opinion of Iron Dragon City Master, the other party must have planned this beforehand. That was why he could capture his eldest son who had reached the late stage of God Emperor so stealthily. Furthermore, the other party's true target should be him, Iron Dragon City Master. Speak. What do you want? Tell me. Iron Dragon City Master coldly said, I advise you not to harm a single strand of my son. Otherwise, I'll absolutely not let you off. Dongboi Shuang shook his head. Iron Dragon City Master, I really did not plot against your son, and neither did I plot against you. Everything was brought upon by your son. Iron Dragon City Master coldly sneered. Let's not talk about these. What do you want in exchange for you to let my son go? Let him go. That's fine too. Treasures worth 100,000 chaotic origin crystal jades. Dongboi Shuang said, if you take out so many treasures, I can let him go. This crown prince of Iron Dragon Hall had snatched his treasures previously, but he did not have the heart to kill him. Since that's the case, Dongboi Shuang was naturally willing to let this crown prince live. It's just that, even though he had taken away the treasures from the crown prince, this little bit of treasures might make the crown prince feel heartache. But to Iron Dragon City Master, it was just a small portion of the wealth that Iron Dragon City Master had. He had to make them feel heartache. Treasures worth 100,000 chaotic origin crystal jades? Iron Dragon City Master was slightly startled. Even though he felt heartache, he was still shocked that the other party's request was low. He even thought that the other party had some harsh requests for him, Iron Dragon City Master, to do something for him. If I give it to you, can you guarantee to let my son go? Iron Dragon City Master said in a low voice. You don't have a choice. Dongboi Shuang said. Iron Dragon City Master gritted his teeth. He waved his hand, causing a storage wristband to fly over to Dongboi Shuang. Dongboi Shuang received it and briefly sensed it. He could not help but sigh inwardly. He was indeed a powerful existence, ranked 7th on the God Emperor list. He had accumulated so many treasures. But adding what he got from the Crown Prince, treasures worth more than 100,000 chaotic origin crystal jades, even Iron Dragon City Master would suffer a huge loss. For you, Dongboi Shuang casually threw Tai Long Yinshan over. Iron Dragon City Master caught hold of his son. As his son gradually regained consciousness, Iron Dragon City Master heaved a sigh of relief. He waved his hand and temporarily kept his son into his Eden treasure. Only then did Iron Dragon City Master turn to Dongboi Shuang. His killing intent became denser. The edge of his lips curled up into a sneer. You are indeed daring. I thought you would escape out of the city before you were willing to give my son to me. Who would have thought that you would give him to me in my Iron Dragon Hall? It seems you are quite confident. That's right. Ever since my cultivation reached a certain level, I have yet to fight against a grand perfection God Emperor. Dongboi Shuang chuckled. Since I have the chance, I naturally wish to fight against Iron Dragon City Master. Oh, ha ha. Iron Dragon City Master laughed. His voice caused the surrounding void to tremble. It was like rolling thunder. You dare to fight against me? I do want to see how strong you are. The entire Iron Dragon Hall was instantly stirred. One after another, the formations surged. Many lightning bolts were swimming around, isolating the surroundings. Clearly, Iron Dragon City Master did not wish for the shockwaves from their battle to affect others in the hall. Come! Iron Dragon City Master looked at Dongboi Shuang. He did not even bother to use the arrays to suppress Dongboi Shuang. At the same time, Iron Dragon City Master's body was changing. His clothes disappeared and black scales appeared on the surface of his body. Even his face was covered in scales. 2 curved horns grew out of his head, and a 6 to 7 meter long tail, covered in scales, grew out from his spine. Both of Iron Dragon City Master's legs became thick and bulky. Both of his hands turned into sharp claws. At this moment, Iron Dragon City Master was like a standing dragon beast. The scales on his body were covered in layers of energy. The inner layer was flowing with colorless energy. The middle layer was covered in blood energy. The outermost layer was chi sounds, causing the surrounding void to be destroyed. At the same time, the void itself was also recovering. At this moment, Iron Dragon City Master's aura was completely unleashed, causing the surrounding world to tremble. Half-chaotic origin, life-form body. But it is rare to see a body as strong as yours, Iron Dragon City Master. Donghua Shui Ying praised. You are indeed ranked second in direct combat in the Divine Realm. In terms of overall strength, Iron Dragon City Master was ranked 7th. But in direct combat, he was ranked second only to Cloud Phoenix City Master. Don't you want to spar with me? You even said that you have some accomplishments in your cultivation and wanted to spar with me. Yet you chose me. You are too foolish. The moment Iron Dragon City Master finished speaking, his body remained standing there. But his tail abruptly swung out. At the same time when his tail swung out, it rapidly expanded. The endless, terrifying energy caused the void to be pressured into stacking layers. These stacking layers of void vaguely formed some cracks, revealing the golden lightning outside the membrane of the Divine Realm. This tail that was covered in scales swung out. Its power was too ferocious and violent. It was so violent that it startled even Donghua Shui. With a thought, the terrifying illusory realm had enveloped Iron Dragon City Master. Iron Dragon City Master only felt an enormous world pulling on his soul. Since he could cultivate to this stage, his soul and willpower were naturally extraordinary. Hence, he was able to resist against it. This enormous world was even assaulting his soul, causing him to feel waves of piercing pain. It was as if many blades were slicing on his soul. This feeling was incredibly unbearable. Most of his heart force had to be diverted to resist against this. It was impossible for him to deal against that mysterious expert. The power of the tail, which was originally incomparably terrifying, was also greatly reduced, and its moves became much cruder. Pung! Donghua Shui Ying waved his right hand, causing pieces of space to appear in front of him. He continuously defended against that tail that had become much cruder and weaker. The third killing technique of the Mirage and Illusory realm is indeed formidable. The Crown Prince of the late-stage God Emperor realm could barely maintain a strand of consciousness before falling into oblivion. Donghua Shui thought, the God Emperor realm, this was a huge level. The gap between their soul and willpower was not too big. Back in the Realm Heart Great Land, Donghua Shui Ying's Mirage and Illusory realm killing technique could deal against some middle-stage God Emperor, God General, experts. And now, the third killing technique of the Tao of Mirage and Illusory realm had undergone a qualitative change. It was much stronger, and most late-stage God Emperor experts would likely fall into oblivion. Grand Perfection, God Emperor realm. Donghua Shui Ying had also been weakened by about 70% to 80% from the techniques of Iron Dragon City Master. What technique is this? This Iron Dragon City Master felt horrified and uneasy. It was too unbearable. His soul was being pulled by an enormous world. He knew that the moment he fell into oblivion, he would be doomed. He had to use all his strength to resist against this world. Only with the remaining bit of heart force could he fight against the enemy. His control over his fleshy body had become blurry. His soul could no longer control this powerful fleshy body perfectly. Hence, his execution of techniques was even cruder. Pung! That white-robed male did not even pull out his sword. Instead, he slapped his palm against the sharp claws of Iron Dragon City Master. This slap, Iron Dragon City Master staggered back several steps from the impact. Waves of energy strangely tunneled into his body. Array support. Iron Dragon City Master could no longer care. Given his identity as the 7th ranker on the God Emperor list, he disdained controlling arrays previously. Because reaching his level, the increase in power from ordinary arrays was negligible. Even in his territory, the help from these arrays was ordinary. But at this moment, he could no longer care about it. As long as it could help him, he would immediately do it. Hong long long, many array energy surged. Some enveloped the surface of Iron Dragon City Master, and some began suppressing Dongbua Shuang. Not good. I can no longer control the arrays perfectly. Most of his heart force was used to resist against the terrifying world that was pulling his soul. The remaining heart force was used to control his fleshy body and the arrays. The arrays of Iron Dragon Hall were complicated and powerful, but because his heart force was too weak, he could only control a portion of them. Just where did this expert come from? How did my son get acquainted with such an expert? Iron Dragon City Master felt anxious. He did not expect that he would actually fall into such a predicament while fighting in his own residence. Chapter 1325. What a fellow! Even though Dongbua Shuang had the upper hand, he could sense how terrifying this Iron Dragon City Lord was. Even though the other party's moves were much cruder and the power he could display was much weaker, Dongbua Shuang relied on his profound moves to prevent the other party from touching him. He had the upper hand, he could attack however he wanted, but his body is too strong. Dongbua Shuang drew the sword on his back. Sword light flashed and slashed at Iron Dragon City Lord's neck. Iron Dragon City Lord's scales were covered in 3 layers of power. The outermost layer was able to destroy the void at any moment. Dongbua Shuang could only use some moves that ignored the defense to infiltrate the enemy's body. He could not harm Iron Dragon City Lord's scales at all. Every time they clashed, the divine sword would collide with the 3 layers of formless power on Iron Dragon City Lord's body. The divine sword would tremble. Just the protective power alone can injure God Emperor late-stage cultivators. Fortunately, I did not clash head-on with him. Dongbua Shuang sighed to himself. Regardless of whether he used his sword or palm, even though Iron Dragon City Lord was sent flying, Iron Dragon City Lord body remained unharmed. Not even his skin was broken. Iron Dragon City Lord's internal organs were unimaginably strong. At least Dongbua Shuang could not injure him. Dongbua Shuang felt that he could not injure the other party. But Iron Dragon City Lord felt aggrieved and pained. His soul was being pulled by the huge world. He had to resist at all times. Only with his remaining mental strength could he fight. The white-robed man's moves were profound. Damn it, if I could use 100% of my strength, I would be able to break all of his moves. But now why do I feel that my body is so heavy, it is so difficult to use them? His body was like a heavy mountain. It was too clumsy. Until now, he had not managed to land a single hit on Dongbua Shuang. I'm being toyed with. Even with the help of the formation, I am still being toyed with. Iron Dragon City Lord felt aggrieved and shocked. He was shocked at how terrifying the other party's soul techniques were. As for close combat, he did not take it seriously because he seemed to be at a disadvantage, but that was because he was constantly being trampled like a target. In reality, his opponent could not even break through the most basic protective strength of his body. Iron Dragon City Master was known as the number 2 in terms of frontal attacks in the divine world. This was because of his terrifying, fleshly body. Because his heart power was affected, his strength dropped drastically. But his physical body did not weaken in the slightest. As expected of the Iron Dragon City Master. I'm impressed. Dongbua Shuang smiled and suddenly retreated. With a wave of his hand, a black crack appeared beside him. Farewell. Dongbua Shuang took a step forward and disappeared into the black crack. Iron Dragon City Master felt that he had recovered to his peak state. He watched the black crack close up and mumbled to himself, super long-distance teleportation? Such a terrifying soul technique. And an ultra-long distance teleportation? Such an enemy was too terrifying. By relying on ultra-long distance teleportation, he could directly descend upon his residence. With a single soul technique, he could easily envelop his residence. Other than him, no one else in his residence would be able to defend against it. Even I would have to expend a huge amount of heart power to defend against it. If only his soul technique was stronger. I would probably sink into that illusory world, right? Iron Dragon's city master shuddered. If his soul could not resist it and sank into oblivion, his heaven-defying fleshly body that he had cultivated for so many years would be useless. The soul is the foundation. Since when did such a terrifying soul expert appear in the divine world? If he improves just by relying on his soul technique, he would be able to sweep away all the God Emperor. Iron Dragon City Master's heart trembled. Even now, the other party's strength was not any weaker than his. The Iron Dragon City Master looked at the dilapidated buildings around him. These were the courtyard walls that he had smashed earlier. With a wave of his hand, the eldest young master of the Iron Dragon Hall, Iron Dragon Yun Shan, appeared beside him. The black-robed Iron Dragon Yun Shan looked around. The surroundings were in ruins. Above them, there were spirit arrays surging. Clearly, the spirit arrays of the entire Iron Dragon Hall had been activated. "Father, have you captured him?" Iron Dragon Yun Shan asked. "Captured?" Iron Dragon City Master looked at him coldly. "Tell me, who is he? How did you get to know him? Tell me everything from start to end." Iron Dragon Yun Shan saw the cold gaze of his father. He could not help but feel his heart trembling. He obediently said, "It's like this. Yesterday, this God Emperor who calls himself Azure Cloud came to visit me. He wishes to buy that void lineage chaotic origin life form corpse." Iron Dragon Yun Shan explained everything from start to end. He did not dare to hide anything. "I believe that in the Iron Dragon Hall, I would even dare to fight against a grand perfection God Emperor, much less with you around, Father. He even foolishly passed the treasure to me. Naturally, I became greedy, and in the end, this is what happened." Iron Dragon Yun Shan finished. Iron Dragon City Master became speechless. The other party took the initiative to trade, yet his son was greedy for the other party's treasure. "The foolish one is you." Iron Dragon City Master was so angry he could not speak. He could discern that this mysterious expert called Azure Cloud God Emperor had a good temper. He was not a selfish and ruthless person. If he was, he would not have traded with Iron Dragon City Master from the start. Instead, he would have killed him and snatched his treasure. "I am foolish. But father, where is he?" The Crown Prince asked. Your father, I've almost died in his hands." Iron Dragon City Master coldly said, "Even after I used my full strength, I am still at a disadvantage." "Still at a disadvantage?" The Crown Prince was stunned. He has executed an ultra-long distance teleportation and left. Iron Dragon City Master coldly said, "Such a frightening strength, such a frightening soul technique, and even an ultra-long distance teleportation. You actually offended such an expert. Even I admire you." "Father, I am wrong. I am wrong," the Crown Prince said. He felt helpless too. He thought he had calculated everything. Yet who would have thought that such a terrifying existence would appear? "Also, you better remember this. You must not divulge this matter to others." Iron Dragon City Master coldly said, "All information regarding this Azure Cloud God Emperor is forbidden from being divulged." The Crown Prince added, "Rest assured, Father, I will absolutely not divulge this information. This time, my Iron Dragon Hall has suffered a huge loss. All my treasures have been taken away. How can such precious information be divulged?" Humph. I believe that not too long later, there will be experts from other organizations falling in the hands of this Azure Cloud God Emperor. Iron Dragon City Master glanced at himself. "Not only are your treasures gone, for the sake of your little life, I have to pay 100,000 chaotic origin crystal jades worth of treasures." The Crown Prince was stunned. What a huge loss. He felt heartache when he woke up and discovered that all his treasures were gone. Who would have thought that the other party would ruthlessly slaughter his father? "If I knew this would happen, wouldn't it be fine if I obediently traded with him?" The Crown Prince was filled with regret for a moment. "You're already very lucky to be able to survive. If you had met someone who was more vicious and merciless, they would have long since killed you for bullying others like this," the Iron Dragon City Master said coldly. The Crown Prince nodded. "That's right. The other party could even suppress his father. Naturally, he would not be afraid of their Iron Dragon City. Even though this battle represented the battle between two experts standing at the apex of this world, Iron Dragon City Master had kept it a secret. Actually, he had controlled the arrays to isolate the battle from others in the residence, because the enemy could capture his son instantaneously. Iron Dragon City Master knew how frightening the enemy was. Not every battle of this level was suitable to be made public, especially when this Azure Cloud God Emperor could possibly be disguising his identity. Dongbua Shui Ying returned to High Mountain City. This battle also made Dongbua Shui Ying understand that even though he could fight against late-stage God Emperor with his middle-stage Dao of Void Strength, he was relatively weaker in terms of offensive power. He had to rely on the profoundness of his techniques to fight against late-stage God Emperor. When he encountered a grand perfection God Emperor, even if the other party was greatly weakened, he could not injure the other party at all. Naturally, his Mirage and Illusory Realm third killing technique was also heaven-defying. It made Iron Dragon City Master so weak that he could easily play around with him. If my Mirage and Illusory Realm could improve further, in terms of strength, even a grand perfection God Emperor could not resist against it. Dongbua Shuang thought it should be sufficient to sweep across all those below the chaotic origin level. He was looking forward to reaching the final realm in his Mirage and Illusory Realm. I have to continue researching the Tao of Void too. Both Daos proceeded forward at the same time. This time, after obtaining the corpse of a Void lineage chaotic origin life form, Dongbua Shui Ying was filled with anticipation towards the future. Time passed. Even though the three Grand Perfection God Emperors, Iron Dragon City Master, Cloud Phoenix City Master, and God Emperor Fire Phoenix knew that an expert with an incredibly powerful soul technique had appeared in the Divine Realm, and they were looking forward to the next time this mysterious expert acted. But they were slightly disappointed because this mysterious expert had not acted for a long time. Dongbua Shuang was not interested in fighting in this world. He was currently passionately researching that corpse of a Void lineage chaotic origin life form. Time passed. The blue sea turned into mulberry fields. It had been 300 billion years since then. A new generation of experts rose in this world. Of course, the Grand Perfection God Emperors who stood at the apex remained unchanged. Today is the first day. Chapter 1326. Deep within the great wilderness, there was a chain of mountains that had stood for billions of years. And at this moment, the entire mountain range was slightly trembling. This huge mountain range that spanned across 500,000 kilometers was trembling. Oh, the mountain range suddenly trembled. A dazzling light instantly engulfed the entire mountain range. The mountain range soundlessly turned into dust. Following that, these light rays converged, revealing a figure floating at the center. He was garbed in green. His aura was so grand that it caused the world to tremble. He was none other than Great Emperor North River, who had been in closed-door cultivation for a very long time. Ha ha ha! North River guffawed. His laughter shook the world. He was delighted. Finally, I've finally reached this stage. The eyes of Great Emperor North River were filled with excitement. In my hometown, this is known as the Grand Perfection Emperor Realm. It is also known as the Supreme Realm. Over here, it is known as the Grand Perfection God Emperor. That's right, Grand Perfection. My fleshy body has theoretically reached the most perfect stage. My bloodline energy has also reached the pinnacle. It was indeed the pinnacle. If one wanted to achieve the ultimate awakening, one had to break through the pinnacle, jumping out of the cage and becoming a chaotic origin life form. But clearly, this was much harder than him, Great Emperor North River, breaking through from the late-stage God Emperor, Great Emperor Realm, to the Grand Perfection God Emperor. Being able to reach the Grand Perfection God Emperor means that my goal in coming to this world has been achieved. North River calmed down. His aura was also gradually converging. Following that, his aura did not leak out at all. This was the Grand Perfection God Emperor. He had a half-chaotic origin life form body. His control over his body had reached the pinnacle beneath chaotic origin. This world is no longer of any help to me. It is about time for me to head to other worlds. Great Emperor North River looked down at his wrist. There was a blood-colored imprint on it. I reckon the new world should be more interesting than this one. Yuan had arranged for 3 worlds. He believed the worlds would be more formidable the further he went. But before leaving, there is still one more person I have to deal with. Otherwise, it would be troublesome if he spoils my plans during crucial moments. Great Emperor North River's eyes were cold. Yingshan Snow Eagle, since I'm leaving the Broken Tooth Mountain Range, you should leave too. How can I allow you to obstruct my path of cultivation? He could guess that since he could travel to the other 2 worlds, Snow Eagle should be able to do the same. Since that was the case, this world was not of much use to him. Hence, he would eliminate Yingshan's Snow Eagle in this world. Let's take a look at the intelligence of Heaven's Will Pavilion. Amen. Yingshan Snow Eagle is quite low profile. He has been staying in that high mountain city ever since he came to this world. Great Emperor North River sneered. He had already paid the deposit. Everything related to Feishu at God Emperor would be relayed to him by the Heavens Will Pavilion. Since he has always been in the high mountain city, then I should properly prepare myself. It is fine if I don't act, but since I do, I must kill him directly. Great Emperor North River pondered. Even though I have reached the grand perfection realm of God Emperor, it is still insufficient to kill him. Judging from the information, this Yingshan Snow Eagle's Tao of void strength was at the middle stage of God Emperor. Being a cultivator of the laws and profound mysteries, his strength could match against late-stage God Emperor, Great Emperor. In addition to his terrifying soul technique, he could fight against God Emperor at the Grand Perfection realm. I have to find some helpers. Great Emperor North River immediately turned into a stream of light and disappeared into the horizon. He had no choice. Great Emperor North River had to fly slowly in this world. When Great Emperor North River was weak, he had once wandered to the realm Heart Great Land and climbed up step by step. He was also the fastest Great Emperor in the history of Broken Tooth Mountain Range. His techniques were naturally much more formidable. 20 billion years after he broke through to the Grand Perfection realm of God Emperor, South, silvery white flying ship. This flying ship had 3 pairs of bizarre wings attached to it. It was currently flying at a frightening speed amidst the clouds. On the flying ship, there were 3 experts seated down. They were drinking wine and discussing. Of these 3, one was naturally the green-robed Great Emperor North River. The other was a single-horned male with a crimson skin membrane covering his body. Both of his eyes were blood-red. Even though his aura was concealed, his gaze was sufficient to make most God Emperors tremble in fear. The final one was a green-robed, green-browed old man. If experts from the outside world saw these 3, they would definitely be stunned. Because this single-horned male with a crimson skin membrane was ranked 9th on the God Emperor list, Shadow Lord. His devil might was impressive. To a certain extent, the degree of threat he posed was beyond that of Iron Dragon City Master, who was ranked 7th on the God Emperor list. Because Shadow Lord's flying speed was ranked 2nd in the Divine Realm. Such a frightening flying speed was sufficient for him to move unhindered in all directions. That green-robed, green-browed old man was ranked 15th on the God Emperor list, Wise Wizard City Master. God Emperor had a grand perfection combat strength of over 30. For him to be ranked 15th, it showed how strong Wise Wizard City Master was. Devil Shadow. Is this person who calls himself North River qualified to work together with the 2 of us? The green-robed, green-browed old man glanced at Great Emperor North River. Ha! Shadow Lord's laughter was ear-piercing. He swept his gaze across Great Emperor North River and said with a grin, Wise Wizard, if you don't believe me, you can try it yourself. But don't blame me if you suffer a loss by then. Suffer a loss? Wise Wizard City Master was startled. I've fought with Brother North River before. His strength isn't any weaker than mine. Shadow Lord said. Wise Wizard City Master nodded slightly when he heard that. Remember your promise. Rest assured. Great Emperor North River nodded. Once you kill that Feishu God Emperor, all his treasures will belong to you. If it isn't worth 100,000 chaotic origin crystal jades, I'll make up for it. All right. Wise Wizard City Master nodded. Rest assured. For Brother North River to be so cautious, the three of us working together should have quite a lot of treasures. By then, they will all belong to you. Shadowlord grinned. As for him, he had already gotten what he wanted from Great Emperor North River. Of course, he had only given half of it to Great Emperor North River. He would only get the other half when he succeeded. It doesn't matter who he is. With the three of us working together, it is possible for us to kill a grand perfection God Emperor. Wise Wizard City Master was confident. 3 grand perfection God Emperor working together. Their rankings were relatively higher. More importantly, Great Emperor North River chose these two because they could coordinate perfectly with him. When 3 God Emperor Grand Perfection experts worked together, their strength would stack together. That was comparable to 7 or 8 God Emperor Grand Perfection experts who did not coordinate well. I must succeed in one fell swoop. Ingshan Snow Eagle. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for affecting my path of cultivation. The killing intent in the heart of Great Emperor North River was rising. He did not wish to have 3 consecutive worlds affected by Dongbua Shueying. He was clear that as long as there was a chance, Dongbua Shueying would not hesitate to kill him. Since that was the case, he had to eliminate this calamity first. High Mountain City. Ever since Dongbua Shueying settled here, this peaceful city became even more stable. Ever since the master of the Demon Heart Society fell, there were no longer any huge disturbances. After all, an expert with the strength of a late-stage God Emperor was sufficient to deter others. The wind blew, causing the branches to fly. Teacher, this is a fine wine that my clan's caravan has just collected from other cities. This is my favorite. Teacher, you should have a taste too. Nobike's Kiyoshi took the initiative to pour the wine. She looked at Dongbua Shueying with anticipation. Dongbua Shueying picked up the wine cup and tasted it. He felt a quivering sensation in his head. What wine is this? Dongbua Shueying blinked. Isn't it refreshing? Nobike's Kiyoshi's eyes were emitting light. She said, First, it feels as if ice water has been poured on my head. Following that, my entire body feels floating. Even my soul is floating. The taste is extraordinary, right? This wine can only be drunk by god monarchs. Those with weaker bodies might not be able to withstand it even after drinking it. I like it the most. Dongbua Shueying smacked his lips. His fleshy body was much stronger than this female disciple of his. Even after drinking this wine, he only felt his mind being stimulated. As for the so-called floating feeling, was it because his soul was floating? Given how strong Dongbua Shueying's soul was, it was too difficult to make his soul float. Chapter 13:27. You don't like it? Nobike's Kiyoshi was slightly disappointed. It is quite tasty. It's just that it doesn't suit my taste. Dongbua Shueying chuckled as he placed down his wine cup. Oh, Nobike's Kiyoshi flipped her hand and brought out another flask of wine. I still have more. Teacher, try this too. Many flasks of fine wine that the female disciple had diligently collected for her teacher. In the end, Dongbua Shueying gladly accepted 3 types of wine. Nobike's Kiyoshi happily sent over a huge pile of wine because she had prepared plenty of each type. Let's not talk about fine wine. How is your cultivation? Why are you still at the peak stage, God Monarch realm? What problem have you encountered that prevented you from breaking through? Dongbua Shueying asked. Nobike's Kiyoshi felt slightly awkward. That time after Dongbua Shueying returned from Iron Dragon City, he had bestowed that dried realm leaf to his female disciple. This dried realm leaf was a treasure that could aid bloodline cultivators. It was extremely amazing. Even the Crown Prince of Iron Dragon Hall deliberately asked for it, so that he could prepare it for his children. After Dongbua Shueying gave it to his female disciple, her cultivation speed naturally soared. In addition, Dongbua Shuang would frequently reward his female disciple with other treasures. After all, he had killed that crane pit god emperor and 3 god emperors under Cloud Flow Little Pavilion Master. He had also plundered all the treasures of that Cloud Flow Little Pavilion Master, the Crown Prince of Iron Dragon Hall, and even Iron Dragon City Master had to hand over a treasure worth 100,000 chaotic origin crystal jades. Actually, most of those treasures were useless to him due to the laws and profound mysteries of cultivation. The few top-notch treasures were mostly useful to late-stage god emperors or even grand perfection god emperors. Hence, he naturally did not give them to his female disciple. His female disciple was ultimately a god monarch, and those treasures were too exaggerated. He was worried that it would bring about a calamity. The dried realm leaf was considered the most precious treasure he had given her. As for the other scattered treasures, none of them were expensive, but there were so many of them that they were worth more than 10,000 chaotic origin crystal jades. Many of them were treasures used by the Cloud Flow Little Pavilion Master to assist in his cultivation. "I feel like I'm close to breaking through," said Nobike's Kiyoshi. After I came out of seclusion this time, how come I heard that your elder brother, Minamoto no Raiki, has broken through to the mid-stage god emperor?" Dongbua Shuang asked. "You gave some treasures to your elder brother?" Minamoto no Raiki from the Makaze clan was indeed very talented. Before the arrival of Dongbua Shuang, Minamoto no Raiki was the strongest peak god monarch. After becoming an early god emperor, his strength was enough to suppress his father, Yufeng Junshan. This time, when Dongbua Shuang came out of seclusion, he received news that Minamoto no Raiki had broken through to the middle stage of God Emperor. No. Nobike's Kiyoshi was so frightened that she hurriedly said, "Teacher, look, the treasures are still with me." Saying that, a storage wristband appeared on her wrist. Dongbua Shuang swept it with his gaze. He easily sent his consciousness into the storage wristband. The dried realm leaf was still there. Most of the other treasures were still there. Treasures are meant to be used. If you don't use them, how are you going to break through? Dongbua Shuang frowned. In the next 100 million years, you have to use 10% of these treasures. Break through to the early stage of God Emperor as soon as possible. Early stage of God Emperor. To the natives of the divine realm who cultivated their bloodlines, as long as they had sufficient treasures, as long as they had a decent comprehension ability, they could still be nurtured to this level. Like Iron Dragon City Master, he had nurtured all his children to the God Emperor level. Cloud Flow Little Pavilion Master, who didn't like to cultivate and loved to enjoy life, was also nurtured to the middle stage of God Emperor. Yes. Nobike's Kiyoshi obediently replied. She secretly heaved a sigh of relief. She had indeed given some treasures that had miraculous effects on her brother, Minamoto no Raiki, to him. After her brother used them, in addition to the accumulation of nearly 300 billion years of cultivation, he felt that he had a chance of breaking through to the middle stage of God Emperor. When her brother was in closed-door cultivation, Nobike's Kiyoshi had even temporarily lent him the dried realm leaf. Their sibling relationship had been formed over a long period of time. She trusted her brother very much. Her brother, Minamoto no Raiki, had indeed broken through to the middle stage of God Emperor. After breaking through, he returned the dried realm leaf to his sister. This was because treasures like the dried realm leaf were very helpful to the weak. The stronger one was, the less helpful it would be. Usually, when one reached the middle stage of God Emperor, the help it provided would be negligible. When Kiyoshi breaks through to the God Emperor level, I'll be able to leave this world. Dongbua Shuang thought. He had obtained the corpse of a void lineage chaotic origin life form. Hence, this world was no longer attractive to him. At most, before he left, he would go and spar with the number 1 expert in the divine realm, Cloud Phoenix City Master. Furthermore, he would think of ways to trade for the cultivation scriptures of that ascendant who was the strongest in the Tao of Void. Once everything was settled, he could leave. In this world, the only thing Dongbua Shuang cared about was this female disciple of his. After all, she was his disciple. Hence, he had to arrange everything properly. He had also guessed that this female disciple should have given some treasures to her brother, Minamoto no Raiki. Because of the treasures he gave her, there were some that were very useful to the early stage of God Emperor. That's good too. It's beneficial for her if her brother is stronger. Dongbua Shuang thought. Just as Dongbua Shuang was drinking and asking about the cultivation situation of his female disciple, suddenly, the entire land of High Mountain City rippled like a wave. For a moment, the entire High Mountain City was filled with rumbling sounds. Some constructed structures even collapsed. What is happening? This ripple, High Mountain City was in an uproar. Many natives of the divine realm looked up at the sky. That terrifying ripple had caused the entire world within High Mountain City to tremble. It felt like everything within High Mountain City would be destroyed at any moment. Amen. Dongbua Shuang frowned. He immediately stood up. Teacher, what is happening outside? Nobike's Kiyoshi was slightly panicking too. Don't worry, Dongbua Shuang said before bringing his disciple out of the house. They stood by the corridor looking into the distant sky. With a glance, they saw a figure currently emitting a blood-colored aura. Seeing this, Dongbua Shuang's expression changed slightly. It's him? The 9th on the God Emperor ranking list. Shadow Lord? Why did he come to High Mountain City? Dongbua Shuang was both startled and puzzled. Being an outsider who came to this world, he could count on his fingers the number of people he had enmity with. This Shadow Lord should not have any relationship with him. Then, why did Shadow Lord come to High Mountain City? And clearly, he did not come with good intentions. At this moment, Shadow Lord stood above High Mountain City. He was emitting an unseen aura that caused the entire world to tremble. Beneath him, the entire High Mountain City was trembling. Many buildings in the city collapsed one after another. Some of the buildings that were stabilized by arrays were still able to resist. Many natives of the divine realm paled because that aura brought about a suppression that made them feel terrified. God Emperor Grand Perfection. This represented the strongest life form in the divine realm. With a single thought, they could turn a region of 500,000 kilometers into ruins. How could the natives of High Mountain City not feel terrified? It's Shadow Lord. Shadow Lord. That enormous blood-colored cape, crimson skin covering his entire body, and that single horn that seemed like it could pierce through the firmament. Those blood-colored eyes were looking downwards. The image of Shadow Lord was unique amongst all God Emperor Grand Perfection existences. Many experts in High Mountain City recognized the identity of this person. Because they recognized him, that was why they felt uneasy. The 9th on the God Emperor ranking list, an expert at this level had never come to High Mountain City in history. Why did he come to High Mountain City? Xing Lu Zhu from Heavensville Pavilion in High Mountain City felt uneasy. He immediately reported upwards. So, two figures flew out from the residence of the Makaz clan. They were none other than the incarnations of Yufeng Junshan and Minamoto no Raiki. The two of them felt uneasy because Shadow Lord's reputation had frightened them. They did not dare to meet him with their true bodies. They were afraid that Shadow Lord would destroy their true bodies with a flip of his hand. Shadow Lord coming to my High Mountain City is an honor for my High Mountain City. Yufeng Junshan respectfully bowed. This one is the city master of High Mountain City. I wonder why Shadow Lord has come to my High Mountain City. But as long as you have any orders for my Makaz clan will definitely do our best. Of course, there's a reason why I am here. The edge of Shadow Lord's lips curled upwards. He swept his gaze across the entire High Mountain City before landing on that white-robed young man who stood side by side with Nobike's Kiyoshi within Feishua residence. At this moment, the entire High Mountain City fell into silence. Even those infants did not dare to cry under this soul suppression. Many natives of the divine realm were looking up at that Shadow Lord who was emitting a blood aura. Feishua God Emperor, hurry up and come out to die, Shadow Lord said. His voice rumbled like thunder, reverberating across every single part of the city. Some of the weaker natives of the divine realm could not help but cover their ears before falling to the ground. Blood even started flowing out from many of their ears. Feishue God Emperor, Yufeng Junshan and Minamoto no Raiki, who were still respectfully listening to his orders, had a change in expression. There were still 2 more chapters. Everyone could read them tomorrow morning. Chapter 1328. Calamity. Who did not know that his Makaz clan was tied together with Feishue God Emperor? In the past, Feishue God Emperor stood out and helped his Makaz clan eliminate the great enemies of the Demon Heart Society. Furthermore, the third lady of the Makaz clan, Nobike's Kiyoshi, had even become a disciple of Feishue God Emperor. Feishue God Emperor had always been living in seclusion in the high mountain city. It was likely that the various organizations in the divine realm would treat the Makaz clan and Feishue God Emperor as one. Will this implicate our Makaz clan? Yufeng Junshan and Minamoto no Raiki felt uneasy. Shadow Lord actually came to the high mountain city just to deal against Feishue God Emperor, asking Feishue God Emperor to die. Many experts within the high mountain city held their breaths, and Shadow Lord remained looking downwards at the white-robed young man standing in the corridor within the Feishue residence. Teacher, what is going on? Why is he? Nobike's Kiyoshi panicked. What should we do? Should we think of ways to escape? Over the years, she could feel that her teacher treated her really well. He had given her so many treasures. She had even treated her teacher as her closest relative. And now, the enemy was a grand perfection expert, God Emperor. He was ranked 9th on the God Emperor list. That was a terrifying existence who stood at the apex of the entire divine realm. How could Nobike's Kiyoshi not be afraid? She was afraid that her teacher would die. Kiyoshi, don't be afraid. Donghua Shuiying laughed as he turned and stared at the Shadow Lord. With a single step, his silhouette transformed into an afterimage. Now that his cultivation base was higher, he had also perfected the Void Devil insect movement technique. With a single step, a series of afterimages were left behind. In the blink of an eye, Donghua Shuiying had already arrived in the air, facing the Shadow Lord. Shadow Lord, Donghua Shuiying asked in bewilderment. I've heard of your fame before. It's just that I have always been cultivating within the high mountain city and isn't willing to participate in the many battles in the divine realm. Before this, I have never met you, Shadow Lord. I wonder why Shadow Lord came to the high mountain city and wants to kill me. Still pretending? I've already investigated the death of my disciple, Chu-chun. He died in your hands. The pair of blood-colored eyes of Shadow Lord were filled with killing intent. Even at this moment, you still wish to act as if you don't know? Your disciple, Chu-chun? Donghua Shuiying was startled. Shadow Lord was an awe-inspiring devil. Being a great devil, he had even established a religion. He had a total of 103 personal disciples. Furthermore, Shadow Lord had strict requirements towards his disciples. To Shadow Lord, if his disciples died while adventuring outside, it represented that the disciple was not strong enough. He did not care about it at all. More than half of his disciples had died until now. So why would he suddenly kill his way here just for a single disciple? Is there a mistake? Donghua Shuiying frowned and said, There's no mistake. The murderer is you. Humph. Feishue God Emperor, you dare to kill my disciple, Chu-chun, yet you don't have the guts to admit it? Shadow Lord's killing intent became denser. He carefully stared at Donghua Shuiying as if he was prepared to act at any moment. Donghua Shuiying sighed inwardly. He did not act. Furthermore, with his current realm, it was impossible for the other party to trace him through karma. In addition, Shadow Lord had never cared about the life and death of his disciple in the past. Yet this time, he cared so much and even fell on Shuiying's head. Everything indicated that the other party was doing this intentionally. Shadow Lord, since you want to act, then don't talk nonsense. Just act. Donghua Shuiying coldly said, Finding a senseless reason will only make me look down on you. Shadow Lord was stunned. He grinned and laughed. Haha, interesting. Then let's less nonsense. Dongbushui Ying extended his hand. A black spear appeared in his hand. Hong! Grabbing the spear with both hands, he hacked it out furiously. What? They're fighting just like that? Fei Shui God Emperor is even taking the initiative to attack. Many spectators across the entire high mountain city were startled. In their opinion, God Emperor was a grand perfection expert, Shadow Lord. Encountering such an expert, they had to do their best to explain and even offer up treasures to see if they could resolve this matter. Even if they could not resolve it, they had to think of ways to escape. Who would directly attack a grand perfection expert like God Emperor just after exchanging a few sentences? Wang, an array appeared above the entire high mountain city. It completely protected the entire city, and Dongbushui Ying and Shadow Lord were both above the city. Controlling the array, Minamoto no Reiki and Yufeng Junshan exchanged glances. I thought that hugging this thigh of the Fei Shui God Emperor would allow my Makaz clan to obtain many benefits. During these years, we have indeed benefited from it. Even you, Lei have relied on the treasures Fei Shui God Emperor gave to Kiyoshi to reach the middle stage God Emperor realm. Yufeng Junshan shook his head. Who would have thought that such a calamity would come just like that? For some unknown reason, Shadow Lord wants to kill Fei Shui God Emperor. If he were to vent his anger on my Makaz clan would not be able to retaliate at all. Just one move. The entire high mountain city would most likely turn into powder under such a large-scale technique. Only middle stage God Emperor Minamoto no Reiki could barely survive. By then, with another move from Shadow Lord, Minamoto no Reiki would undoubtedly die. Fei Shui God Emperor has always been in the high mountain city. He should not have any enmity with Shadow Lord. Minamoto no Reiki said worriedly. Who knows? Who knows? He might have enmity with Shadow Lord before coming to the high mountain city. Yufeng Junshan felt uneasy. They felt that Fei Shui God Emperor had always been hiding his strength. Before coming to the high mountain city, Fei Shui God Emperor should already possess such terrifying strength. Otherwise, how could he improve so quickly? He was just an early-stage God Monarch at the start, yet he suppressed the peak-stage God Monarch at Mountain Master a few days after coming to the high mountain city. And 8 million years later, he could even kill the Master of the Demon Heart Society? In their opinion, he should have been hiding his strength previously. In reality, the reason why he improved so quickly was because Dongbushui Ying was recovering his strength rapidly after obtaining the cultivation scripture. 9th on the God Emperor ranking list. Yufeng Junshan turned pale. He did not have any confidence in Fei Shui God Emperor at all. Hong. Both parties fought at an incredibly fast speed. Dongbushui Ying even controlled the void to obstruct the shockwaves from the battle, preventing them from impacting the high mountain city below. Even though the high mountain city was currently maintaining its arrays, the protective arrays could not withstand the shockwaves from the battle between Shadow Lord. The disturbance from the battle was too huge. It was impossible for those below to see it clearly. Yufeng Junshan, Minamoto no Reiki, Xing Luzhu, Bat Mountain Master, and others looked upwards nervously. They could only see all sorts of shockwaves from the battle. A huge piece of space floated in midair like an enormous ice block. Within this ice block was suppressing that Shadow Lord. The entire ice block was still trying its best to make it thinner. Shadow Lord abruptly stomped with his right leg. His right leg became thicker by size. After stomping down, the entire ice block trembled and rapidly collapsed. Shio. Dongbushui Ying came up once again. He sent out consecutive spear shadows. Every spear shadow formed a black void maelstrom. This void maelstrom engulfed Shadow Lord. At the center of the maelstrom, everything was being torn apart. It was a piece of darkness. In an instant, several hundred black void maelstrom appeared in midair. They were revolving around one another, forming an even bigger maelstrom that was continuously shredding Shadow Lord. Shadow Lord could not display his terrifying speed within this maelstrom, especially when many maelstrom fused together to form an even bigger maelstrom. The crimson skin membrane on his body was being shredded apart, revealing the red muscles within. Even though his muscles were tough, they were still torn apart. Droplets of fresh blood drifted into the black void maelstrom before being shredded into nothingness. I can see it clearly. Ever since the enormous ice block was suppressing Shadowlord, many experts within High Mountain City could finally see the battle happening above. When the several hundred black void maelstrom engulfed Shadowlord, they were all stunned. What? Shadowlord is injured. This Shadowlord is actually injured? Seeing fresh blood dripping down, the experts within High Mountain City were stunned. Yufeng Junshan and Minamoto no Raiki, who did not have confidence in Dongbua Shui Ying, were stunned too. What? Feishui God Emperor could actually fight against Shadowlord without being disadvantaged? This was a grand perfection God Emperor. He was ranked 9th in the entire God Emperor ranking list. Chapter 1329. Xing Luzhu from High Mountain City's Heavens Pavilion was currently watching the battle anxiously. He held onto a book and was recording the scenes of the battle. He muttered to himself in shock. No wonder Feishui God Emperor did not beg for mercy or offer any treasures to resolve the situation. Instead, he acted so quickly. So his strength is not any weaker than Shadowlord. A battle between two grand perfection God Emperor experts. Xing Yi, am actually qualified to record a battle between two grand perfection God Emperor experts? Xing Luzhu felt that everything was a dream. He was merely the manager of a Heavens Pavilion located in a remote little city like High Mountain City. He was considered the lowest-ranked Heavens Pavilion master in the entire Heavens clan. But reality was that he was currently recording a battle at this level. Grand Perfection God Emperor? That damnable Tai Chung Lu. Bat Mountain Master looked at that terrifying battle in the sky. That terrifying black void maelstrom was frantically engulfing Shadowlord. Just a single remnant shockwave could easily kill him. Bat Mountain Master. That time, Bat Mountain, actually dared to send 3 God Monarchs to ambush him. Fortunately, Sir Feishui God Emperor is magnanimous. Bat Mountain Master thought, but he did not know. That time, when Dongbua Shui came, he had yet to recover his strength. If he wanted to attack Bat Mountain, he would have to use his soul technique. And being a guest from another world, Dongbua Shui was not willing to reveal his soul technique. If it was his current strength, Dongbua Shui could easily eliminate Bat Mountain Master with a flip of his hand. It was just that he did not eliminate the other party in the past. After which, Bat Mountain Master repeatedly apologized to him. He had been currying favor with the Feishui residents for many years. Hence, Dongbua Shui would naturally not pursue the matter. And then, even though he was injured, Shadowlord did not care about it. This was just a superficial wound, and the consumption of his life force was negligible. He is a late-stage ascendant of God Emperor. It's obvious that his moves aren't strong enough, but they're strange and unpredictable and very hard to deal with. Shadowlord's expression changed slightly. No wonder North River asked me and Wu Zhe to act together. Previously, Dongbua Shui couldn't hurt him at all. Finally, it was the Dark Void Vortex. It took hundreds of spears to form numerous Dark Void Vortexes, stacking on top of each other, to injure Shadowlord. I'm not playing with him anymore. Shadowlord's eyes turned cold. Roar! Shadowlord opened his mouth. A terrifying, ear-piercing screech suddenly burst out, forming a visible wave that instantly broke through the dark void vortex in front of it, and rushed all the way to Dongbua Shui. Dongbua Shui was struck by the piercing sound. Even though he hurriedly executed his spear arts to defend against it, the formless shockwaves still rippled through his body. Even though his physical body had already reached the level of God Emperor late stage, he still felt his entire body going numb, and his mind was still assaulted. However, his soul was strong, and he was able to resist against such attacks. Shadowlord is finally using his killer move? Dongbua Shui thought. Heavens Will Pavilion's intelligence had long recorded that Shadowlord had 3 killer moves that could be ranked 9th on the God Emperor board. Who? Shadowlord's back suddenly swelled up as a pair of skeletal wings appeared. There was even a dark red membrane on the wings. As the wings flapped, Shadowlord's speed suddenly increased explosively. 9 phantoms pounced over. Donghua Shuiying knew that Shadowlord's speed was extremely fast, and he could appear within any of the phantoms. This wasn't teleportation or the innate sacred art of ancient cultivators. It was pure speed. His speed was almost 2 times faster than his Void Devil insect movement technique. 2 times, the difference was already so huge that it was ridiculous. This was normal too. Shadowlord was known as the 2nd fastest person in the divine world. Even Cloud Phoenix City Mistress and several other Great Circle God Emperor experts couldn't compare to him. Chi. Shadowlord's original pair of meaty hands had already transformed into giant claws. The dark red membrane on the claws had completely crystallized. This pair of claws was his most terrifying weapon. Shadowlord would occasionally open his mouth and release sharp screams. The continuous screams affected Donghua Shuiying. His terrifying speed revolved around Donghua Shuiying. Every single claw would force Donghua Shuiying to use his spear to defend. His techniques are clearly stronger than mine, but his execution is still too crude. I am completely able to defend against them. Donghua Shuiying might be at a disadvantage, but his defense was still watertight. Although Great Circle God Emperor experts were also pursuing the profoundness of their techniques, no matter how much they pursued it, they ultimately cultivated the Tao of Bloodline. Competing in profoundness? How could they compare with Donghua Shuiying and the others who were comprehending the laws? Ascendants were also comprehending the Tao. They did not have any bloodline energy and could only comprehend their own Tao. I can't deal with him. North River, Wise Wizard Act. Shadowlord transmitted to his 2 companions, Great Emperor North River and Wise Wizard City Master. These 2 Great Circle God Emperor experts had long arrived at High Mountain City in the dark. The 2 of them had completely concealed their aura. They were merely disguising themselves as early-stage God Monarchs. Reaching the level of Great Circle God Emperor, what was the point of searching for karma? It was useless. Searching for aura? It was impossible to do so. A late-stage ascendant of God Emperor. Brother North River, no wonder you want the 3 of us to work together. The edge of Wise Wizard City Master's mouth revealed a grin, but with just this bit of strength, it is possible for the 3 of us to kill him. Amen. Great Emperor North River nodded. Nonetheless, he felt something amiss in his heart, because looking at the battle between Shadowlord and Donghua Shuiying in the sky, Great Emperor North River could clearly see that Donghua Shuiying was merely using a Tao of Void technique. Just the Tao of Void alone has allowed him to reach the late stage of God Emperor. He could even fight against a Great Circle Grand Perfection bloodline cultivator like God Emperor. Great Emperor North River thought, if he were to use another soul technique, the 3 of us would most likely be slightly affected. Fortunately, back then, only the weakest of the divine champions would fall prey to his soul attacks. Some of the stronger god generals could resist against it. Great Emperor North River thought, currently, I have reached the grand perfection God Emperor. His soul technique should only be able to affect 20 to 30% of our strength. The 3 of us should work together. Even though we would be slightly weakened, we can still complement each other. Great Emperor North River thought. These were the helpers he chose with great effort. If he randomly chose 2 God Emperor Grand Perfection bloodline cultivators, they might not be able to provide much help to each other. But when the 3 of them work together, the effect will be different. Even if it is 20 to 30% weaker, the 3 of us should still have some hope of killing him. Great Emperor North River thought. Great Emperor North River and Wise Wizard City Master exchanged glances. Move, Hong. Hong. 2 figures were like lightning. They rushed into the sky and pierced through the protective array of High Mountain City like soap bubbles. The aura emitted by these two figures was abnormally terrifying. One of the green-robed, green-browed, old man roared. His body transformed into a fog dragon with the head of a dragon. This fog dragon immediately charged at Dongbua Shuang. Large amounts of green fog rapidly wrapped around Dongbua Shuang, causing Dongbua Shui Ying's expression to change. It was futile even if he executed his spear technique to defend against it. That fog could not be defended against at all. It rapidly engulfed him. Layers upon layers of fog enveloped Dongbua Shuang, causing his speed and strength to be greatly affected. Sila, the green-robed man, brandished his sword. The sword light seemed to be able to split the world apart. A water-like sword light cut through everything. It also reached where Dongbua Shuang was. That fog, which was originally surrounding Dongbua Shuang, naturally split apart, allowing the sword light to penetrate through without any obstruction. North River. Dongbua Shuang looked at that green-robed man. The other party had unleashed his strength at the Grand Perfection God Emperor realm. Dongbua Shuang naturally recognized him with a glance. This green-robed man was none other than Great Emperor North River, who came from the same place as him. The experts in High Mountain City were originally shocked by the strength of Feishua God Emperor. Even Nobuke's Kiyoshi revealed a look of joy. She felt that her teacher could at least survive. The experts from all sides were stunned, looking at those two figures that easily broke through the protective arrays of the city. They felt similarly horrifying. That aura was at the same level as Shadowlord. Those 9 figures. That was a fog-poison dragon. That was a sword light that could split the world apart. Three Grand Perfection God Emperor Realm experts. Everyone was stunned. Xing Luzhu from Heaven's Will Pavilion, who was responsible for recording the battle, felt his throat turning dry. 3 Grand Perfection God Emperor experts attacking a single expert? This was rarely seen in the entire history of the Divine Realm. Every single one of them could shake the entire Divine Realm. Xing Luzhu instinctively reported upwards. 3 Grand Perfection God Emperor experts are attacking Feishua God Emperor at the High Mountain City right now. This news rapidly spread to the headquarters of Heaven's Will Pavilion, and almost all the apex experts in the Divine Realm had set up intelligence reports with the Heaven's Will Pavilion. As long as the information reached a certain level, it would be immediately transmitted to these experts. And 3 Grand Perfection God Emperor experts were attacking a single expert? This information had to be reported at the first instance. This news rapidly spread. It spread to various superpowers in the Divine Realm. Chapter 1330. Not good. Feishua God Emperor is in danger. Minamoto no Raiki and Yufeng Junshan, the 2 God Emperor level experts, were able to discern the current situation with a single glance. Wise Wizard City Master has transformed into a mist venom dragon, weakening Senior Feishua's strength. Shadowlord is extremely fast, and it is already hard for Senior Feishua to defend against him. And now, the other green-robed man, who is also a God Emperor Grand Perfection expert, has unleashed a sword that is even more terrifying. If he were to fully defend against this sword, he would not be able to defend against Shadowlord. Minamoto no Raiki anxiously said. If he were to defend against Shadowlord, he would not be able to divert his attention to defend against that sword. Yufeng Junshan was anxious too, because the moment Feishua God Emperor died, their Makaz clan would not have a good ending. Even though Feishua God Emperor currently displayed a combat power comparable to a God Emperor Grand Perfection expert, facing against 3 God Emperor Grand Perfection experts, he was in dire straits. Even Yufeng Junshan and Minamoto no Raiki could not think of any way this Feishua God Emperor could escape. When Dongbua Shuang saw that water-like sword light that cut through the world and that green-robed man, he no longer had any doubts. It is indeed you, Great Emperor North River. No wonder Shadowlord found a reason to deal against me. Dongbua Shuang thought. He is truly cautious. He has already broken through to the Grand Perfection God Emperor level. Yet he still thought of ways to invite Shadow Lord and Wise Wizard City Master, two great Grand Perfection God Emperor experts, to act together in an attempt to kill me. Fortunately, my strength is no longer the same as when I was in the Realm Heart Great Land. Dongbua Shueing did not care about the current predicament of being surrounded by three Grand Perfection God Emperor experts. I still have to use it. Boom! Dongbua Shui Ying's eyes turned cold. And at this moment, Great Emperor North River, Wise Wizard City Master, and Shadow Lord, who are currently cooperating against Dong Bo Shui Ying, felt a huge illusory realm appearing at the same time. Furthermore, it was pulling at their souls. Moreover, this illusory world had layers upon layers of impacts, like waves, continuously attacking their souls. Earlier, when dealing with He Dong God Emperor, Cloud Flow Little Pavilion Lord, Iron Dragon Manor's first young master, Iron Dragon City Lord, and others, he had used the Mirage and Illusion Realm killer move. But that was to hide one's identity. No one knew who he was. And at this moment, Dongbua Shui Ying understood that he would no longer have peaceful days in High Mountain City. The news of him being able to execute a terrifying soul technique would most likely spread across the entire Divine Realm. The Iron Dragon City Master, the Wind Cloud City Master, and the others must have been searching for him for a long time. So what if I am exposed? Given my strength, if the three chaotic origin ancestral gods don't appear, I am not afraid of anyone. As for the chaotic origin ancestral gods, they're ultimately chaotic origin experts who have jumped out of the cage. They even created this huge world. With such an identity, they should not casually attack me, right? Dongbua Shueing thought. At this moment, Dongbua Shueing was filled with thoughts. As for the other three Grand Perfection God Emperor experts, they were truly filled with fear. Shadow Lord, Wise Wizard City Master, and Great Emperor North River felt their souls being pulled by the terrifying, illusory realm. All of them were panicking. They were doing their best to resist against it. The amount of heart force they could use in battle was very little. Furthermore, they could not perfectly control their fleshy bodies. Hence, the crudeness of their techniques rapidly increased, reducing their power greatly. How could this be? This is a soul technique. Shadow Lord was frightened silly. He even retreated at the first instance. He used his fastest speed to escape into the distance. Damnable North River. He actually did not mention that this Feishua God Emperor has such a terrifying soul technique. His soul technique is actually so powerful that I have to use 90% of my heart force to resist against it. North River, you are ruthless. Truly ruthless. You did not tell us such important information about the enemy. Very good, very good. Shadow Lord fled while transmitting his voice. Clearly, he was furious. If one said that Shadow Lord was so frightened that he fled at the first instance, even though that Wise Wizard City Master was incomparably shocked and furious, he did not panic because his mist poison dragon body was practically undying. Even Cloud Phoenix City Master could not do anything to him. Almost my soul could not withstand it. If my soul could not withstand it, my body would have died too. For a moment, Wise Wizard City Master was furious. He directly transmitted a message to Great Emperor North River. North River, this Feishua God Emperor has such a terrifying soul technique, yet you did not tell us about it. This time, not only do you have to compensate us with 100,000 chaotic origin crystal jades, you have to compensate us as well. At the same time when Dongbua Shui Ying executed his soul technique, the spear in his hand struck out at the escaping Shadow Lord. Although the Spectre Sect Master was frantically escaping, no matter how fast he was escaping, how could he compare to the vastness of space? One could see an enormous void bubble appearing and directly enveloping Shadow Lord. The membrane of the void bubble stacked on top of one another. This was an imprisonment technique. Shadow Lord was trapped within and immediately attacked with all his might. But this void bubble was constantly reducing the impact. At this moment, Shadow Lord could only utilize 10% of his original strength. Even though his fleshy body was strong, and he could still unleash 30% of his previous strength with just 10% of his current strength, it was only at the late-stage God Emperor level. He could not break apart the void bubble for a moment. North River. Dongbua Shuiying was just casually executing a technique against Shadow Lord. He turned into a blurred image and charged straight at Great Emperor North River. This was the target he wanted to kill. How could a soul technique be so powerful? Great Emperor North River was stunned. Even though wise Wizard City Master and Shadow Lord had transmitted a message to him, Great Emperor North River was too lazy to care about those two. What he was shocked and furious about was Dongbua Shuiying's soul technique. Back in the Broken Tooth Mountain range, quite a few god generals could resist against it. Yet I actually need 80% of my heart force to barely resist against that illusory realm. Dongbua Shuiying charged over. At the same time, he sent out a furious chop with his spear. Wah! The surrounding space was like a huge block of ice, forming a whole block. Moreover, it was rapidly flattening. In almost an instant, it was pressed until it was as thin as a blade. Not good. I'm only left with 30% to 40% of my strength. I'm only comparable to the late-stage God Emperor. Great Emperor North River felt anxious. The God Emperor was in grand perfection. Even though they had excavated their bloodline energy to the limit and formed a half-chaotic origin life-form body, the difference in strength was different. However, different bloodlines caused their strength to be different as well. For example, the Spectre Sect Master and the Iron Dragon City Master both had ridiculously powerful fleshly bodies. The Iron Dragon City Master's fleshly body was too powerful, and his frontal attacks were second only to the Cloud Phoenix City Master. Shadow Lord's fleshy body was too strong. His pure speed was second in the divine realm. This kind of fleshy body cultivator had a powerful fleshy body. Even if he did not have much heart force left, every move he made would still be powerful. Even if they stood there and allowed the enemy to attack them, the enemy would find it hard to injure them. Another example was Wise Wizard City Master. Wise Wizard City Master could transform into a mist poison dragon and had an undying body. In terms of restricting the enemy, he was ranked in the top 3 in the divine realm. But in other aspects like direct combat, he was weak. Everyone had their own advantages, and Great Emperor North River was most proficient in offense. His fleshy body was much weaker than Wise Wizard City Master and Iron Dragon City Master. He could only be considered ordinary amongst the grand perfection God Emperor. Pooh! The compressed space finally shattered. Great Emperor North River also spurted out blood. Many wounds appeared on his body, causing blood to spurt out. The high-speed Dongbua Shuiying pierced out with his spear once again. The spearhead had yet to arrive. Instead, an unseen ripple rushed into the body of Great Emperor North River. Even though Great Emperor North River tried his best to defend, this move could not be blocked at all. It directly penetrated into his body. Layers of ripples began forming within his body. Finally, the ripples fused into one, causing Great Emperor North River to spurt out blood. Some of his internal organs were even spurting out. Not good. In terms of the profoundness of my techniques, I am much weaker than him by an entire level. Currently, the amount of heart force I can use is much less, and my techniques are much cruder. Great Emperor North River immediately understood this point. My fleshy body isn't as strong as Shadow Lord's. If we continue fighting like this Shan Snow Eagle should be able to kill me in just a dozen moves. A dozen moves. Given Dongbua Shuiying's level, his speed was extremely fast. For Great Emperor North River to reach his current stage, he was naturally decisive. Kill. Dongbua Shuiying rapidly sent out another spear. Go. Great Emperor North River did not hesitate to activate the blood imprint on his wrist. Wong. A blood bubble wrapped around Great Emperor North River. This stab of Dongbua Shuiying's spear seemed to have pierced through the void. That blood bubble did not even form a single ripple. Closely following that, with his schwa, the blood bubble brought along Great Emperor North River, disappearing from this divine realm without leaving behind any traces. He escaped? Donghua Shuang could not help but grit his teeth when he saw that. He knew that it was hard to kill North River because he had a similar technique that could allow him to leave this world at any moment. My chaotic origin refinement body has only reached the late stage God Emperor level. It is not strong enough. If I were to reach the grand perfection level of God Emperor, given the profoundness of my techniques, in addition to my soul technique, I should be able to kill Great Emperor North River in a single move. Donghua Shuang thought. Following that, he turned back, only to see Shadow Lord rushing out of the void bubble. He was currently frantically escaping into the distance. As for the fog venom dragon, it was escaping in another direction. Today, one update. Star. Chapter 1331. Above the high mountain city, Shadow Lord and wise wizard city master. These two grand perfection God Emperor experts were currently fleeing in different directions. Wise Wizard City Master had transformed into a fog-poisoned dragon. It could be said that he had an undying body. It's just that he was similarly wary of Donghua Shuang. This Feishua God Emperor is too frightening. If his soul technique was any stronger, I would have died. Hurry up and leave. The further the better. After all, this time, they came to kill the Feishua God Emperor. Since they had formed such a huge enmity, it was natural for them to hide further away. So, Shadow Lord accelerated his speed to the limit. With my speed, it is impossible for this Feishua God Emperor to catch up to me. Amen? Not good. In just a short moment, Shadow Lord had already flown out of the walls of the high mountain city. He was flying towards the wilderness outside, but his expression changed abruptly. A black crack appeared in front of him, and a white-robed Donghua Shuang came out from it. He blocked the path of Shadow Lord. You can't escape. Donghua Shuang stared at him. Ultra-long-distance teleportation? Shadow Lord paled with fright. There were only a few in the entire divine realm who could teleport through an ultra-long distance. This Feishua God Emperor could do it too? Shadow Lord was both furious and frightened. He turned around and was about to change his direction to escape. Donghua Shuang was too lazy to take out a spear. He merely pressed down with his right hand, causing the void in front of him to be compressed like a piece of paper. Even though Shadow Lord's soul was constantly being pulled by the huge, illusory realm, his fleshy body was strong enough to resist against the spatial suppression. Pong! This compressed space finally shattered. But Donghua Shuang had also arrived in front of Shadow Lord. Stop! Shadow Lord shouted. Donghua Shuang stopped. This time, we listened to Northriver's bewitchment and came here to kill the Feishua God Emperor. We were in the wrong. Shadow Lord said hurriedly, I am willing to make amends and resolve this matter. How about that? Shadow Lord was quite tall, and his skin was dark red. He wore a huge blood-colored cape, and his eyes were blood red. Shadow Lord was famous throughout the god world for being a tyrannical and ruthless person. But now, he was bowing his head and apologizing. It was a rare sight in the god world. Apologize? Donghua Shuang looked at Shadow Lord with a faint smile. Tell me your conditions. Donghua Shuang was very clear about this. Shadow Lord was different from ordinary God Emperor who was at the grand perfection realm. His fleshy body was too strong, and his speed was too fast. Donghua Shuang had to rely on large area techniques to restrain him, but large area techniques did not deal much damage to his body. Given how strong the fleshy body of Shadow Lord was, large area techniques could easily deal negligible damage to him. First, he would restrain him and get close to him, but Shadow Lord's speed was too fast. It was likely that he would pull apart the distance after exchanging a few moves. Donghua Shuang would have to use large area techniques to restrain him again. Given how strong the fleshy body of this Shadow Lord is, I should have to use several hundred moves before I can kill him. Donghua Shuang thought. Furthermore, his speed is too fast and slippery. It is impossible for me to attack continuously. It would most likely take the time taken to brew a cup of tea to kill Shadow Lord. In such a long time, Shadowlord could not see any hope of survival. Under his rage, it was normal for him to bury the entire high mountain city with him. Others did not know of the personality of Dongbua Shuang. They would think that such an expert would be cold to the weak little ants. But in reality, Dongbua Shuang was not willing to see the entire high mountain city being massacred. Even though he could save people, he could only save his female disciples and a few others. It was impossible for him to save everyone in the city. Treasures worth 50,000 chaotic origin crystal jades. Shadowlord slightly bowed. I'm willing to offer them up to resolve this matter. Sect Master, your life is only worth this little? Furthermore, you all previously wanted to take my life. Dongbua Shuang said, treasures worth 100,000 chaotic origin crystal jades, and I'll forget about this matter. The eyes of Shadowlord brightened slightly. He had long been waiting for this Feishua God Emperor to ask for a lion's ransom. These 100,000 chaotic origin crystal jades were completely within his acceptable range. He immediately replied, all right, I'll take the treasures worth 100,000 chaotic origin crystal jades. Also, Brother Wise Wizard also wishes to resolve the enmity between you and Feishua God Emperor. I wonder if that is possible? Wise Wizard City Master. Dongbua Shuang glanced at that mist venomous dragon that flew out of the city. That mist venomous dragon had already stopped. It floated far away and was looking over. He could not kill this Wise Wizard City Master temporarily. Yet Wise Wizard City Master still wished to resolve the enmity between them. Clearly, he had been beaten so badly that he was afraid. Wise Wizard City Master. He had not felt the threat of death for a long time. His mist venomous dragon body was untouchable in the divine realm by all three chaotic origin ancestral gods. But at the place where Dongbua Shuang was, Wise Wizard City Master could feel the aura of death. Because as long as Dongbua Shuang's soul technique became slightly stronger, it would surpass the limits of Wise Wizard City Master's soul. Even if he could escape now, who knew if Dongbua Shuang would improve a little more in the future, Dongbua Shuang would kill him. The days of fear and unease were extremely painful. If he could resolve it, he would do his best. That's fine too. What can he pay? Dongbua Shuang said. South, that distant mist venomous dragon rapidly flew over in the direction of Dongbua Shuang. High up in the sky, Wise Wizard City Master and Shadowlord were incredibly polite. They lowered their stance and were negotiating with Dongbua Shuang to make amends. And within High Mountain City, the group of people, Yufeng Junshan, Minamoto no Raiki, Nobukei's Kiyoshi, and others, including Xing Luzhu from Heaven's Will Pavilion, and others were all stunned. Oh my God! 3 Grand Perfection God Emperors actually got swept away when they attacked Feishua God Emperor? 1 against 3. Yet he defeated 3 Grand Perfection God Emperor. This did I see wrongly? They were completely stunned. Of the 3 Grand Perfection God Emperor experts, 1 mysterious God Emperor had escaped Great Emperor North River, and the other 2, Shadowlord and Wise Wizard City Master, were currently trying to curry favor and apologize. This was no longer just a simple defeat. In the divine realm, it was normal for Grand Perfection God Emperor experts to fight with each other. Usually it was hard to kill them because the gap in strength was not too big. Even if they lost, they would not lower their heads or apologize. Only Cloud Phoenix City Master had a relatively transcendent status and could force other God Emperor to apologize. But at this moment, both Shadowlord and Wise Wizard City Master were apologizing. Wise Wizard City Master is apologizing too. He has an undying body. Many people were stunned. What exactly is the strength of Feishua God Emperor? How could he be so strong? A single person defeated 3 Grand Perfection God Emperor experts. He even frightened the other party into apologizing? Such an expert is actually living in seclusion in my high mountain city? Yufeng Junshan was filled with disbelief. In the entire divine realm, the only one who can be so heaven-defying is probably the number 1 on the God Emperor ranking list, Cloud Phoenix City Mistress. Imperial Wind Lei's heart was also trembling such an expert actually accepted third sister as a disciple. In the corridor of Feishiwa residence, Nobike's Kiyoshi was also slightly stunned. She was originally worried about the safety of Dongbua Shuiying, especially when the three Grand Perfection God Emperors encircled Dongbua Shuiying, causing her heart to jump to her throat. But what happened next under her? My teacher, my teacher. Nobike's Kiyoshi did not dare believe it. This strength should at least be ranked second on the God Emperor list. Xing Luzhu woke up. He immediately recorded everything that happened. At the same time, he was reporting everything upwards. Who is stronger between him and Cloud Phoenix City Master? We can only know after a battle, right? Who knows? He might be able to defeat Cloud Phoenix City Master and become the top ranker on the God Emperor list. The position of the top ranker on the God Emperor list changed. Xing Luzhu did not dare believe that such a huge battle was personally recorded by him. As the information spread out, many experts in the divine realm were startled. It was fine if those god monarchs were stunned, but even the Grand Perfection God Emperor experts were in a daze. 1 against 3? Defeating 3 Grand Perfection God Emperor experts? Shadow Lord and Wise Wizard City Master begging for forgiveness and compensation? Quick, quick, quick! Where's the battle scene? Many experts immediately requested for the battle scene. These battle scenes were purchased from the Heavens Will Pavilion separately. Xing Luzhu was indeed worthy of being proud, because the battle scene he recorded was carefully watched by too many experts. The Heavens Will Pavilion relied on this to earn quite a lot. In reality, earning was a minor matter. Such a huge matter had even alarmed the 3 great royal clans. That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.